Global Citizen Live fundraising event that took place in Central Park over the weekend. The biggest stars in Hollywood and music showed up to support the cause with performances from Coldplay, Lizzo, and BTS. But who else can steal the stage like your buddy Hoda, Jennifer Lopez? Check out this moment from J-Lo's performance of her big summer smash.
It goes like this. All she wanna do is just
work it, Hoda, work it, 2 and 3 and 4. Wrapping up their New York tour, Prince Harry and Meghan also stopped by the Global Citizen stage to call out vaccine inequality around the world, and here's a little bit of what they had to say.
This year, the world's expected to produce enough doses to meet the target of vaccinating 70% of people in every single country. But it is wrong that so much of the vaccine supply has only gone to just 10 wealthy nations so far and not everyone else.
My wife and I believe that where you're born should not dictate your ability to survive.
All right, next up, Bridgerton. Netflix held a massive online fan event over the weekend. What? Previewing the streaming services.
Did they do Despacito?
What? Yeah, I don't know. Upcoming slate for their original movies and shows, including season 2 of the smash hit. Eldest Bridgerton brother Anthony set to take center stage. In a first look at the new season, we see him chasing after series newcomer Kate Shama, played by Simone Ashley. Here's a peek of that.
You take issue with my requirements?
I take issue with any man who views women merely as chattels and breeding stock.
None of that was meant for you.
Viscount Bridgerton, yes. When you manage to find this paragon of virtue, whatever makes you think she will accept your suit? Are the young ladies of London truly so easily won by a pleasing smile and absolutely nothing more?
So you find my smile pleasing?
I find your opinion of yourself entirely too high. Your character.
You guys watch Bridgerton?
Yeah. Even Craig watches Bridgerton.
And two don't.
You do.
Craig and
You
Al
know
don't watch
you
it.
do.
I did.
I don't know
Yes, you do.
I'm not proud of it, but I did.
I have not watched it.
That's popular. That show's really popular.
It's really good.
Season 2 of Bridgerton set to hit
Have
Netflix
you watched What If?
next year.
No, she has not.
Speaking of Netflix, we've got another first look from the streamers' weekend event. This one previewing the highly anticipated film Don't Look Up. Get this, the all-star cast. You got Leonardo DiCaprio and Jennifer Lawrence. They play astronomers who go to the White House to warn the president and chief of staff, who, by the way, is played by Meryl Streep and Jonah Hill, about an asteroid headed towards Earth. What a crazy plot. The only problem, the government does not seem that concerned.
Whoa. I'm so bored. Just tell us what it is. Seriously, stop.
What Dr. Mindy is trying to say is that there's a comet headed directly towards Earth.
And then what happens, like a tidal wave?
It will be far more catastrophic. There will be mile-high tsunamis.
So how certain is this?
There's 100% certainty of impact.
Please, don't say 100%.
We just call it a potentially significant event.
But it isn't potentially going to happen.
99.78% to be exact.
Oh, great. Okay, so it's not 100%.
How about that cast? That cast and that plot.
Yeah.
The juxtaposition of that's crazy.
Wow. It's like Asteroid meets Wag the Dog.
It's going to be a hit.
Yeah. Don't Look Up is in select theaters on December 10th and on Netflix on Christmas Eve. You can watch that. And finally, A$AP Rocky. 2 weeks ago, the rapper hit the carpet at the Met Gala looking cozy alongside Rihanna. Now we're learning more about that fluffy quilt. It was like a cape that he was snuggled up in. A woman named Sarah sharing on Instagram that the quilt he was wearing was something that her great-grandmother handmade. Jeez. It was donated to an antique store in California where A$AP Rocky's designer bought it, picked it up and made it into that cape and used it as the base for the Met Gala look. Sarah writing, when I saw the Met Gala photo, I realized instantly that had to be the same quilt.
Wow.
Looks like great-grandma Mary went to the Met Gala with A$AP Rocky. Sarah then shared an update that she spoke with the designer who outfitted A$AP Rocky and told her followers, don't worry, I still have plenty of other pieces from great-grandma.
Wow. What a great story.
Wow. I know that quilt.
Oh, my gosh. Well, it's memorable.
Up next on Today Talks, Al refreshes his space for fall. Stay with us.
Make the most of your day with
Today in 30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show in a mere 30 minutes.
Watch Today in 30 on your schedule, streaming every day on Today All Day.
Hey everybody, it's Hoda Kotb from The Today Show. I am so excited to tell you about my new podcast, Making Space with Hoda Kotb. I sit down with some incredible people and we'll hear some uplifting stories.
Listen to Making Space now on Apple Podcasts.
Does the White House think they have an Afghanistan problem or a COVID problem? Do you believe the abortion issue should reflect the will of the people or the will of the elected officials? The vaccine mandate, is this going to work or is this going to backfire? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Will coronavirus come back next year?
So to help make sense of it all, we've created a newscast just for them. Man, you know a lot. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
Still to come on the Channel 2 News. Well, the waters are certainly receding now.
Still too close to call. Lester Holt reporting from
Ground Zero, as it's being referred to.
It is, in fact, the taste of freedom. The Haitian people know a little something about resiliency. What's the biggest risk right now? Some of the troops who have been proud. I want to welcome you to the first presidential debate. In fact, we've been told we can't go any farther. You with some resilient folks, let me get a hint.
Welcome back. Today on the third hour, Al spent his weekend cleaning out his closet, and Craig has an exciting announcement. Check it out.
I see you had a pretty productive weekend. Well, I cleaned out the closet. You know, moved from spring, summer to winter, fall.
Wow.
Right in. Cut back. I had been violating over the pandemic.
What is that?
One in, one out.
Yeah.
So I went through, got a lot of stuff I'm donating to my church. And
Bottom right, what is that? What was that? Can we pull that picture?
Wait, I recognize that. Is that from your holiday card?
That's my Christmas jacket.
And you don't want to let that go?
When do you wear that?
At Christmas.
Oh, just on Christmas Day?
Well, the holiday season, if you know.
I've never seen you wear that.
He tried to hide that one in there. Did you see that?
You don't wear that on TV, do you?
No,
Oh,
but
okay.
I wear it around.
You have so many
moving
blazers.
On. And you and I got.
It was nice.
On
How
Friday,
was your
we had a
thing?
guy's lunch.
Had a nice
How
guy's
was
lunch.
that?
It was delightful.
Yeah, we just sat outside, had a couple of little aperitivo and some lunch. It was
It was
fantastic.
delightful.
What was for lunch?
What did you have?
I had a lamb kebab, and you had a salad with
A
shrimp.
salad?
A shrimp
Yeah,
salad.
Okay,
Yeah.
that sounds nice.
Don't judge me.
Well,
Speaking of
I mean,
lunch-
they're lamb kebabs.
Think about lunch. You had
So
a
yeah, we had a
picnic.
family picnic this weekend. It was really nice.
Oh,
in the
look at
city,
that.
we
That is
did.
just
We
great.
lost Daddy. He was somewhere.
Okay.
Well,
Daddy wasn't invited to the picnic?
I guess you've got to put on a little tracker on him or something. How careless of you.
We lost him, but we still took a selfie anyway.
All right.
It's to the point now when I take pictures of my kids, I have to bribe them. It's so horrible. They'll be like, so if we take this picture, if we smile, then what do we get? I'm like, no, we're going to take a picture just because.
You get to eat.
Yeah, exactly.
You get room and board.
in this
That's what
house.
you get.
You were on the cover of Vanity Fair.
That's
Just
not
kidding.
true.
He's on the cover issue of Guideposts, Just as Sweet. The article is actually written by you.
Oh, that's.
What did you write about?
You know what? I actually. I haven't read the article yet, but Al said.
But you wrote it.
I did write it.
But
and Al
excuse me,
said.
sorry.
Al said it turned
It's
out
a-
okay.
it's a
Don't put
lovely-
anybody on the cover. Of
Oh,
the magazine.
No, it's a very lovely magazine. It's a lovely article, and you and your father, both doing just a wonderful thing, shining this light on addiction, and that there is light at the end of the tunnel.
And I also wrote about my faith and the power of prayer. And, you know, a lot of times people pray for things. We treat God like he's some sort of genie.
Sure.
You know, God, I want this. And so I write a little bit about my relationship with my faith over time and how it's changed, how it's evolved in a good way, I would contend. But yeah, so hopefully it does some good.
It will do some good.
They clean up those pictures a lot.
Look great.
Oh, come on, you're a good looking guy.
On Thursday, we'll get that. I'm sure you've heard from people who, I know for sure, who your book has made such a difference.
I've heard from a number of folks,
Yeah.
so just trying to do some good. Trying to get into heaven, Chanel.
There you go.
We'll see.
We all have a little
Hopefully
more
you
work
have some
to do.
time left.
Coming up on a Hoda and Jenna Masterclass Monday on a kitchen staple you don't want to miss.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app. Make the most of your day with Today All Day. Get closer to all your friends at Today in a whole new way.
Today in 30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show in a mere 30 minutes.
Shop today with Jill Martin.
We're helping you shop like never before.
The latest styles and biggest names. Today Food.
Things are heating up in the Today All Day kitchen.
Cooking essentials and recipe inspiration.
Get ready. Are you ready? Oh, I'm so ready.
Only on Today All Day.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas. Weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
It was a wealthy, idyllic town forced to confront racism, but when the school board presented its plan, it ignited a national firestorm.
Critical race theory.
Racism in reverse. False narrative. Shame.
This is Southlake. All episodes available now.
Does the White House think they have an Afghanistan problem or a COVID problem? Do you believe the abortion issue should reflect the will of the people or the will of the elected officials? The vaccine mandate. Is this going to work or is this going to backfire?
If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app. Make the most of your day with Today All Day. Get closer to all your friends at Today in a whole new way.
Today in 30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show in a mere 30 minutes.
Shop today with Jill Martin.
We're helping you shop like never before.
The latest styles and biggest names. Today food. Things are heating up in the Today All Day kitchen. Cooking essentials and recipe inspiration.
Get ready. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm so ready.
Only on Today All Day.
Welcome back to Dan, Hoda, and Jenna. Joy Bauer's back with all the details about cooking oils and their health benefits. Take a look.
Well, on our Saturday, we actually planned one thing, and it was there's a place called White Post Farm, kind of in our general area.
Yes.
So I thought, well, it's going to be a farm. They'll have pumpkins, and you pick some apples and see a cow and la-di-da. This place was cray. So you get there. There literally are kids holding carrot sticks with giraffes reaching over and taking it like from their hands. No, they give baby bottles. You can buy them for like $3, and you take the baby bottle, you feed the goat through the thing. They were like, here, you can feed that. I go, are those zebras? They give you an ice cream cone with like pellets in it or something, and you put the cone out.
Yes.
And these animals.
Were you doing this or your children?
My kids were, but I was like, give me a carrot. I was done. Look,
there they are.
Look, I'm talking about like reaching down. Wait, hi.
First of all,
wait.
Why is Hope a teenager?
Hope is a teenager. She's 2.5. She's not scared. But it was just so. Look, I mean, the giraffe is like in the photo. Like, hey, I'm over here. Gerald from the book is here. But it was so wild and so much fun.
Now, you know what is? First of all, you never went to a pumpkin patch last year, and I know because I never went to. You went before October.
Well, they had a whole patch. You just walked through and you could pick one.
Did you pick the pumpkins?
We picked some pumpkins, and they had like a magic show and a dog show. And it's so spread out that it doesn't feel crowded.
Yes.
The people were so nice. Like I'm so shocked about how much fun it was. I thought it was going to be one of those kind of, you get pushed through, okay, get the cotton candy.
Yes.
There was a hay ride. We did that. Wait. The kids rode. They have a train. You have to be 3 feet tall or whatever. My 2 girls were sitting by themselves, looking like they couldn't believe it, because they're 2.5 and 4.5. I was watching them on that train. I was just thinking to myself, like, oh my God, and they kept waving, and they would get lost in the weeds and then back again. Anyway.
Well, it was, you know what?
So fun.
I would have met you.
Oh, you would have?
Yeah, I mean, remember the U.S. Open gate? Remember U.S. Open gate?
Oh, you mean when you were with Brad Pitt and Bradley Cooper and I was home? Yes.
Okay, so I was home, and we'd always sort of talked about pumpkin patches, and I live right by that farm.
You do?
I sure do.
Not far.
Not right by is a little exaggerated.
Nearby. Well, how about this next week? Why don't we go again? Because my girls
You're
are saying,
gonna go
and they have pony rides. Like, it was really that fun.
Okay,
even
if you're
for
going to go
grown-ups.
twice, and after you disinfected them with Purell, I'm in.
Okay.
It was Broadway's big night last night. The Tonys.
Wow, yeah.
The 74th annual Tony Awards. It honored the best achievements in the 2019-2020 season because it was postponed.
Well, you know, if you were going to pick one night, I mean, look, there were a lot. Moulin Rouge won a ton of awards.
And Moulin Rouge is so good.
You saw it.
I saw it before the pandemic. It is. I can't tell you how much fun it is. We should also go see that.
I love the movie.
I love the movie, and I will have to. And I loved the movie. I always loved it. But I have to say, I like it even better than the movie.
Okay, I want to see it.
They do all these mashups with current music, which I know sounds like.
No, I love that. That's one of my favorite things.
So good.
Oh, really?
I saw it twice.
Oh, okay.
I saw it twice. I was like, what is happening?
No, I was wondering when. Okay, I'll go with you again. Okay. But there was one moment that everybody's talking about. Okay, you guys know from maybe you haven't seen the Broadway show Dreamgirls on Broadway, but you saw the movie. Jennifer Holliday is famous for singing that song, I'm Not Telling You. This is her singing it from the hit musical Dreamgirls. Take a listen. Wow.
She had everybody on their feet. You know when you can feel somebody singing something?
Yes.
You
Like
can
they believe
feel
it.
that.
Yes. So she won the Tony in '82. She portrayed Effie White in Dreamgirls, and she has got a Grammy for that recorded version of the song. And a lot of people remember Jennifer Hudson playing that role in the movie.
Oh my gosh,
wow.
Jennifer Holliday.
That was amazing.
And that was the performance was in tribute to the musical's 40th anniversary.
Oh.
I mean, that's incredible. All right, and as we said, Moulin Rouge won 10 awards. Y'all should go see it if you're in New York. It's
I want to
really
see
good.
that. Okay.
It's really, really good. We should go.
All right. So if you are in the dating world, or if you have been, which most people at least have been at some point, would you end a possible relationship because of horrible table manners? Is that something that would be a deal breaker for you?
If really horrible, yes.
Depends on how horrible, right?
It'd have to be really horrible.
Yeah.
But you know when somebody is just like this?
What do you mean?
With their fork completely around it.
Hovering. Who did that? Someone you dated. Did they do it at dinner and you just watched that?
Kind of. Just slopped
on top
over.
of it. Well, the survey says that 3 in 5 Americans would end a date early or break up with somebody if they had an annoying food habit.
Okay, the biggest bad food habits, talking with your mouth full.
I know.
Have you ever done it?
Yeah.
Probably me too.
Yeah.
Chewing loudly.
One time I was on a plane happily reading all by myself, and some lady next to me tapped me on the shoulder and said, "I cannot stand the way you're chomping on your gum. You need to stop." I was horrified.
What did you say?
I said
Did
I
you
was
wanna
sorry.
cry?
Yes. And I was in the window, so I was trapped in there. I couldn't get out. You know that feeling? And I felt horrible. Horrible. And I remember just sitting there and I said, "Do I chew loudly?" And I do. I knew I did because my mom always said, you gotta stop doing that. But when I was into the book, I just wasn't thinking. I was chomping it, probably snapping it.
You probably were blowing bubbles.
Yeah.
But you know what?
It was
is
so
hard?
annoying
What's
for
hard
that lady.
Is that when you get reprimanded, you go back to basically being 5.
Oh, I know.
And being like, okay. Did you kind of want to cry and spit out your gum right away?
I did spit it out right away, and I felt like the whole flight was endless. I was like, get me off this plane. It was the worst. But that is a big no-no for people, chomping.
Chomping is gross. And then also on the list of no-nos, dropping food on the floor and then eating it. It depends where you drop it.
It depends if you're at home. It's fine.
It depends when you drop it. Sometimes I drop things and Henry's like, "Why? What did you just do?" Or for example, like there's Cheerios on the ground and you sort of forget and just put it in your mouth. Have you ever done it?
Yeah. Well, because I don't mind. Our floor is usually kind of clean.
Cleanish. Okay. Well, So
I think to me also just how you treat people. It's so clear at a meal. It's so clear. Like, are you a good tipper? Are you kind? Are you
That's
polite?
a bigger turnoff to me than bad.
Me too.
Bad eating.
Or I didn't get if you don't get what you want, how do you act about it? Because sometimes things go wrong.
Yeah,
that's life.
Exactly.
All right, by now, olive oil is probably a staple in many of your kitchens, but what about those other oils that you see in the supermarket? You've seen them: avocado oil, grapeseed oil, coconut oil.
If you know nothing about them, because we really don't.
We know nothing.
Okay, we are so happy because today's Masterclass Monday is for all of us. So take notes, okay? Because today nutritionist Joy Bauer is here with everything you need to know.
First of all, this is the first time I'm seeing Joy in person. Okay, I've known you since the beginning of our show, since its inception many years ago, and I cannot believe this is the first time I'm laying eyes on you.
Lunged across the studio. We needed the Chariots of Fire music.
All right,
we're so happy.
Let's get busy because extra virgin olive oil has got to be a staple. This is your number one.
with everything.
Extra virgin olive oil is like the king of all oils, and extra virgin comes from the first pressing of olives. So as you can imagine, it has all of the good stuff. It not only has, it's called monounsaturated heart healthy fat, but it also has a lot of antioxidants. And what's really interesting too is that, like grapes and wine, olives have a lot of different personalities. So you can get a smooth extra virgin olive oil, or you can get a robust extra virgin olive oil.
Some of them say cold pressed or whatever.
Yeah.
Is there something you're supposed to get, or does it matter?
You know, if you get extra virgin olive oil, because there's tight regulation, you know it's
Extra
a quality.
virgin is the
And
one.
it has a high smoke point, so it's good for grilling, roasting, sauteing,
too.
and obviously salad dressings and
You know,
marinades.
some people eat it. like have spoonfuls of it. That's kind of a new thing.
Well, we like to just dunk our crusty bread in it, but I don't know that I would just take a spoonful.
What is this, avocado oil?
So this is avocado oil, and be on the lookout because this is the new kid on the block.
Okay.
And when you look at the makeup of avocado oil, honestly, it's just as impressive as extra virgin olive oil. But here's the thing with it. First off, it also has, I have to say, a higher smoke point than olive oil, and it also has a more neutral-like flavor. So olive oil you wouldn't want to bake with because it brings that olivey taste to, but avocado you can. The only caveat is it's not so mainstream now, so it's a little bit pricey, and you don't necessarily know what you're getting. But I would say jump forward 2 years from now, that's going to be all over the place.
Next up, we got a bunch to get to.
Okay, canola oil, and I'm going to say, and this is grapeseed oil. Canola oil and grapeseed oil is like a nice versatile oil. They have a high smoke point. When I say high smoke point, that means it's the temperature that an oil will start to break down and provide smoke. So the higher the smoke point, the more versatile it is. These are inexpensive, but I'm going to tell you, they do not have the health perks of extra virgin olive oil or avocado oil.
So you wouldn't, but you would maybe use this in your baking.
Exactly, because there's no flavor. It won't change the flavor of your recipe.
Coconut oil. We think this
is a hottie. People, they think this is the healthiest.
I think this is the healthiest.
Wrong.
Oh no.
It's a really big myth. It's super trendy and it's very buzzy, but here's the story. Coconut oil is one of the only oils that provides a huge amount of saturated fat. And we know that saturated fat, and through studies, the saturated fat in coconut oil elevates LDL, that's the lousy cholesterol. So here's what I would say. There's a lot of attributes to it. It has something called MCT oil in it. It's solid at room temperature, so it adds a lot of integrity and texture to recipes. Use it as an accent oil, like sparingly.
What's an accent? Like what would, like tell how you would use this.
So what I would say, if a recipe calls for 2 tablespoons of oil, use 1.5 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, and then a little bit of the coconut. Exactly.
This is sesame oil.
Sesame oil is fabulous. You only need a little bit. It has a potent, delicious, nutty, yummy flavor. It's for Asian-inspired recipes. You could get regular or toasted. And again, just a little bit is all you need. Really delicious. This one is
vegetable oil, which. Or maybe we might be mixed up.
No, vegetable oil, this might be the sesame. So this is the vegetable oil. And vegetable oil is really, it's confusing. It's an umbrella term for anything that's plant-based. So every single oil we just went through, it falls under the vegetable oil. And because they're usually blends, it's really hard for me to weigh in on the different health attributes.
I usually use that for baking. But
it's another good one for baking, yes.
These are the infused. These are the ones we love.
So I made these last night. This is extra virgin olive oil, and this one I infused with rosemary. I just simmered it with a little bit of rosemary. This one is garlic chili.
I love the garlic chili.
They're so delicious, and I'm going to show everybody on Instagram how to make these because they're so simple.
Rosemary is delicious.
Isn't this great?
You put that on some potatoes or something. Wow, it really did get.
All right, Joy, thank you.
Today Talks continues after the break. We have an exclusive chat you can only see here on Today All Day.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Make the most of your day with
Today in 30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show in a mere 30 minutes.
Savannah and Hoda bring you what you must know. The biggest moments of the morning.
One Republic!
Exclusive interviews.
Why did it work for you?
You're right. I am more talented than the rest.
And important headlines.
Major medical news this morning.
Watch Today in 30 on your schedule. Streaming every day on Today All Day. Make the most of your day with
Today in 30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show in a mere 30 minutes.
Watch Today in 30 on your schedule. Streaming every day on Today All Day.
News is more than a headline. It informs, it inspires, and it still matters. To cover it, you have to be in it. And that's what we're gonna do. Every night, we take you to the front lines of the story, where it's actually happening, with NBC News journalists on the ground from all over the world. We cover what you need to know and bring your newsfeed to life. In primetime and streaming live, it's your news playlist every night.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Welcome back to Today Talks, and our exclusive content you can only see here on Today All Day.
Hi.
Hi. We're back together.
Yes, we are.
I'm like, what do we have to say?
Well, we have so many things to discuss. Some things are upcoming. Can we talk about your interview tomorrow with Alan Jackson?
Yes.
We won't say anything about it, but there have been a lot of people who have been curious about Alan Jackson. He's had some performances, and fans have been curious about what exactly is going on with him.
You know, first of all, he's the most kind, humble, lovely human being. And I didn't realize what he's been through over the last couple of years. His daughter lost her husband who fell at their lake house. Oh, no. They'd just been married briefly. He lost his mom, who he was so close to. So he hasn't recorded, there was like a 6-year period where he didn't record any music. Right. He has a new album out, and he has something really important to share.
Yeah, personal.
But it's like he was also kind of nervous, and which I loved, you know, and vulnerable, and also was I think, you know, so many times people are like, but other people have bigger things.
You know, it's so interesting you say that. First of all, Alan Jackson's people and him called you to have this, to kind of relay this story. And I was just thinking about sometimes the awesome responsibility of this job, because sometimes we forget about those kind of things. But sometimes I remember feeling this a lot when I was working at Dateline and other times too, but people are trusting you with their secret. And they want it handled with kid gloves. Yes. And it's so personal, and sometimes these are things they've never spoken about before. You're the person they're talking to. And it's such an awesome responsibility when you think about sitting across from someone and they're saying something that, just like Alan Jackson is about to tell you, something he's never said before publicly, and he's relying on you to take care of him. And aren't you sometimes, I'm so nervous, am I gonna do this?
And that, yes, in this case, but always, right? Yeah. I think about that a lot. Yeah. The privilege it is to tell somebody's story, and not just like the one side that we all know. No. Because I've been the person where I've sat across from somebody who thinks they know me, you know, and has sort of preconceived thoughts of what they think I am.
Do you try to, that's a good point. So do you try to convince them? Are you trying to show them, like, you don't know me, this is who I am?
No, I mean, maybe deep down, it's more like I know when somebody's open to learning about me and to hearing about me. And I've known, and this was maybe before, you know, but I also know when somebody already thinks, well, I know what she is. I know who she is. About. I know who her family is. I know this. I know her. And really, you know, very few people do.
Right. They don't know. And that goes for not just someone who you might. Sometimes you look at somebody who's in the public eye and you think, oh, well,
I know them.
You know, I know them. They don't have, their life is easy. They have everything paid for. What do they have to worry about? But I think that is one of those things, because I've been thinking about that in real life too, just about not judging someone because you catch a snippet of them. Yeah. Like if I see someone yelling at their kid, and that could be me yesterday. Yeah. Like I don't mean to, but it's like a moment, and someone says, "Oh, well, I know them." And I've had that, like on Twitter. Someone said, "Oh, well, I saw, you know, Hoda do X, Y, and Z." Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, is that when I was dropping all my bags and I couldn't find my credit card and my kid was running away?" Yeah, that was me. Yeah. In that 10-second moment.
I know, we all think, and I think that goes for people that are in the spotlight and not. Yeah. We see somebody, we think we know their story.
Right, someone at the bus stop, it's like, oh, there's the mom who,
and we never know what people are going through. Yeah. So I think it's our job when you're meeting with, whether it's somebody that we know or somebody we don't, to really like listen.
Brand new people.
And tell their story authentically, and that's tricky, right?
Yeah.
Because
well, this is all, this is a long way of saying I'm really looking forward to this Alan Jackson interview tomorrow. It's going to be interesting.
You know, I like flew home thinking there's days of work where it feels like you're really full, and it felt like that.
Wow.
I loved listening to him.
Okay. All right, we're going to have that. And well, that's it for this episode of Today Talks. Keep watching for more of Today All Day.
So from what I understand, you didn't set out, if you will, to write a memoir, but your life story, I've heard that it seemed to pour out of you. Is that true?
Well, I wanted to write a bunch of policy papers on how to enable a system to help young families balance work and family. That's really where I started. But people said that's too dry. Nobody's going to read policy papers unless you inform it with your life. And so this book is a memoir, but it's really telling the story of my life, to derive the lessons that would lead to the moonshot, which is how to create a support structure to help young family builders balance work and life.
Let's take it a step at a time. You talk about your story. It begins in India, and you paint such a vivid picture of your childhood.
It was surreal almost, because I felt like I was back home, in my ancestral home. When we talked about the swing, I felt like I was sitting there. I could feel the wind, the whoosh. And I almost woke up and said, Grandpa's calling me.
You also talk about the prioritizing of education. Talk to me a little bit about that and how important it was.
Everything was about education. As long as you got good grades, you were given freedom to do other things. But grades were paramount. You had to do well in school, because the belief was a good education is the foundation for your future. And that was a non-negotiable item. Homework came first when you came home from school. And report cards were checked. All your schoolwork was checked down to what mistakes did you make. I mean, why did you get a dictation test wrong? You had to rewrite the words, 25, 30 times. So it was a maniacal focus on education. And my grandfather took it upon himself to be the teacher, the guide, the mentor, everything. He was the constant force in our life.
How did they balance the cultural tug of war of making sure as a woman you were going to eventually find someone to get married, or your domestic duties versus education and academics and career? Was there a tug of war, or was it a tap dance, if you will?
Kind of, one foot on the brake, one foot on the accelerator. My family believed that girls should soar and dream as much as the boys. So there should be no difference between the girls and the boys. So it was interesting that our family felt that way. And remember, I was born 8 years after India got independence. India was under British rule for 350 years. The British occupied India. They left in 1947. I was born in 1955. So it was the early years of India. India was trying to figure out what kind of a country it was going to be. And women were just emerging on the scene. I was among the early group of women to go to college, to go into business school. So it was like frame breaking in so many ways. And in my family, it was like, let the girls dream. Do not hold them back. That's what my father and my grandfather would say, and my mother too. On the other hand, she'll say, I'm going to find you a guy at 18 and get you married off, because society expected that. So she had the foot on the brake and a foot on the accelerator. And that's the environment we grew up under, but we knew that my grandfather and my father would never allow us to be married early unless we wanted to get married. And they would make sure that if we wanted to study more work, they would give us the support, which is what the men in our family did.
So that certainly wasn't typical in all families. How grateful are you that you had that type of support?
In those days, you didn't think of gratitude, because you just said, hey, we're daughters, we can do whatever we want. In retrospect, I'm in awe of what my grandfather and my father and my mother, to a large extent, because she was part of the society, right? She could have been absolutely vilified and said, how can you allow your daughters to go work? She just said, no, that's what they want to do, let them go do it. They want to study, let them study. She never held us back.
So if we were to fast forward to when you started climbing the corporate ladder at a time where you probably didn't see a lot of faces that looked like yours, you are a woman, an immigrant, a person of color. What was it like sometimes in those boardrooms, or when you were sitting at those tables, when you didn't see faces that looked like you?
I was among the very, very early group of people to come into the corporate world. So I knew there wouldn't be too many people like me. As a woman, as an immigrant, person of color, in every which way I struck out. So it actually made me work harder and better, because I'd feel like I was in a hole every time I went into a meeting, that people are looking at me like she must not belong here. So I was in that hole in my mind, and I had to dig myself out of it and then earn a seat at the table. So I always came over-prepared, had more of the material mastered, to demonstrate my supreme competency. So in the first few meetings, I would quickly establish that I was a force to be reckoned with, that I deserved a seat at the table, if not at the head of the table. So unknowingly, the fact that my mind took me into a hole and digging out of it resulted in my performing better than anybody else around the table.
In your book, you talk about even just the journey to get to the corporate ladder, right? And all of the things you had to do, and speaking up, even when people were speaking up, and trying to interrupt you. Then fast forward to when you were in the boardroom, did you feel confident that you deserved a seat at the table and that you could, hang with the boys, so to speak?
Yes and no. It's like a duck that looks very calm on top, but underneath you're rowing. Yeah. So you feel like, man, I've arrived. You look around and you go, I'm sitting at the head of the table. Inside you've got butterflies. Because when you reach the top, Chanel, you can be pushed off the top very fast. You've got to earn that position at the top every day. As a CEO, the world is looking at you. People want you to fail. More people want you to fail than they want to succeed, see you succeed. And so you're always a little bit uneasy. But after a while, you get your groove. And you say, you know what, I'm pretty damn good. And until you get that groove, which takes about 4 or 5 years into CEOship, you still have those butterflies in your stomach. In a way, I think those butterflies in the stomach are good because they keep you on your toes.
Before you got to that point where you said, you know what, I'm good, I can do this. Were there any specific stories? Are there any memories that stick out in your head that made you say, what was that?
I don't think I ever said I can be CEO at any point. I always was like, I don't know if I'm good enough to be CEO, or, you know, let's not think about the CEO job, let's talk about the job I'm doing exceedingly well. I think if I'd focused on the CEO job, I might have forgotten the job I had to do. And so I just focused on the job to do it better than anybody else could, and just kept going that way. So when the call came to be CEO, it was like, oh my God, I'm going to be it? Holy cow, you know, I'm going to be in the center of attention and I have to deliver, and this is my agenda now. How am I going to do it? I hope I have the ability, the courage, the confidence. You start to question a lot of things about yourself until you develop that sort of inner courage to face the world.
What is the secret to that inner courage?
You have to draw on your reserve of competence first. You cannot do these jobs unless you're supremely good at what you do, the subject matter. So that you have to always draw on that competence factor first. Once you have competence, courage and confidence comes quickly on top. And the thing that I was told by my outgoing CEO was, even if you're nervous and uncertain about something, don't show it. Because everybody's looking at you. Show courage, show confidence, show calm. And sit within the 4 walls of your office and think through and struggle with issues. But outwardly show calm, because there's too much riding on your courage, your calmness. So I learned those skills. The great thing is I had mentors who taught me all those things.
Were they all male mentors?
All males. But I was surrounded by them. But the amazing thing is they took it upon them to reach out, give me that advice, tell me I'm doing something wrong, give me experiences that otherwise I wouldn't have sought. So I owe them all an incredible debt of gratitude.
What do you think it was about your work ethic or about you that led a lot of those men back in the day, if you will, to support you and help propel you in your career?
I never, ever was given a job that I didn't deliver. I was about the most reliable person, and I would kill until I delivered for whoever I was working for. Second is, whoever I worked for had my undying loyalty. I never, ever, ever let them down on anything. And I always looked at the job through, how can I make their life better? How can I make their life easier? Because I know what the CEO job is like. I had a seat up front watching it. And so I do everything possible to make their life easy. And they saw that. They said that, look, I remember one example where I'd made prepared a presentation for the board, and I gave it to the CEO and said, here's the big presentation of the board. Could you look at it? He said, have you checked it? I said, yeah. He said, what am I going to find that's wrong? You've checked it through and through, so I don't want to see it. Take it away. But it showed a level of confidence in me, which I'd earned. Basically, he was saying, you know, you always turn in a product that you check, recheck, triple check. And I think that's what made them want to mentor me. And in turn, they got my undying loyalty.
It was a wealthy, idyllic town forced to confront racism, but when the school board presented its plan, it ignited a national firestorm.
Critical race theory.
Racism in reverse. False narrative. Shame.
This is Southlake. All episodes available now.
Hey everybody, it's Hoda Kotb from The Today Show. I am so excited to tell you about my new podcast, Making Space with Hoda Kotb. I sit down with some incredible people and we'll hear some uplifting stories.
Listen to Making Space now on Apple Podcasts.
News is more than a headline. It informs, it inspires, and it still matters. To cover it, you have to be in it. And that's what we're going to do. Every night, we take you to the front lines of the story, where it's actually happening, with NBC News journalists on the ground from all over the world. We cover what you need to know and bring your newsfeed to life. In primetime and streaming live, it's your news playlist every night.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
It was a wealthy, idyllic town forced to confront racism, but when the school board presented its plan, it ignited a national firestorm.
Critical race theory.
Racism in reverse. False narrative.
Shame. This is Southlake. All episodes available now.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
How old were your kids when you hit the peak of your career there and when you became CEO?
So when I became CEO, my kids were all young. One was a teenager going through difficult years, and the other was entering teenage years. So it was a difficult time, believe me. But the good thing is my office was 10 minutes from home. And the young one's school was 10 minutes from the office. So I lived in that triangular bubble, if you want to call it that.
Trust me, a lot of us can relate.
That made a huge difference, Chanel, because if there was a problem in school, I just ran out. I don't care what meeting I was in, I ran out. If my kids were not well at home, I went home during the day a couple of 3 times to just check on how they were and came back. So I lived in this bubble. Physical bubble, if you want to call it that, between home, school, and office, and made a huge difference. Had I had to commute for an hour or 2, would have been a whole different problem.
I know so many women who feel like, okay, if I mastered what my work today, then I feel like I failed at home. And if I was all in at home, I feel like I failed at work. And I feel like there are a lot of people who feel like they just can't balance it all.
It's a real challenge. And I do not even use the word balance anymore. It's like juggling. You just have to juggle everything. Even I feel like, not that I failed at home, I didn't do enough at home. And when I did a lot at home, I felt like, oh my God, I neglected something at work. So that tug and pull is a reality, and we have to live with it. I think the best you can do is to say, at the end of the day, I'm going to do the best I can for my family, the best I can for my job, and hope to God my spouse gets taken care of.
I know my husband's like, woohoo, I'm over here. Like,
That's
I'm
exactly
sorry,
what he said. Exactly. My husband always says, your list is PepsiCo, PepsiCo, PepsiCo. Then it's your kids, as if it's not his kids.
Yeah.
Then he says it's your mom. Somewhere at the bottom, there's me. And I go, see, just be happy you're on the list.
That's good, that's good. So was there a time, actually I know there was a time that really kind of pulled on my heartstrings, where your daughter, I guess she wrote you a letter. Take me back to that time.
I think she was about 4 or 5, and I still keep that letter in my desk. And the note goes, Mom, please come home. Please, please, please come home. I love you more if you came home. Please, 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 please. And she drew a cloud and some flowers and her looking up, waiting for me to come. Now, that's a reality, because there were times when we were doing transformations and acquisitions, I was working non-stop. I mean, I had Raj, my husband was at home, my mother was at home and on and off, my mother-in-law would come in to help. So we had family, but they wanted mommy.
So when you got that letter, I mean, it's cute now, but when you first got that letter from your daughter, did it just break your heart?
Break my heart's an understatement. So, my other daughter had a journal entry which said, waited at the window for mom to come home. It's now 10 o'clock. And, our babysitter says, I have to go to sleep, but I have something really, 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 really important to tell mommy. When I read those journal entries, I boo-hoo-hoo in my room, but that's reality, When you only have so many hours in the day and you're doing 4 or 5 full-time jobs, okay? It's hard. So there's some sort of juggling you have to do, and you do the best you can.
Would you have done anything differently?
I don't know. I'm wired a certain way. And to be honest, I studied a lot, I worked a lot, and I loved my jobs. I loved my family, I loved my husband, I loved my kids.
Did they understand that you were trailblazing at the time?
No.
Of course they didn't.
Of course not.
Of course they didn't.
They don't even know what it is.
Yeah, I was just looking at this. When you joined PepsiCo in 1994, 15 of the top 15 executives were American men. Not one Fortune 500 company had a female CEO.
Yep.
We talked about the fact that you didn't fit the mold. You often had to stand up for yourself, kind of hold your ground, as the only woman at the table. What was that like at the time?
The fact that I was different, I was used to it, because all through my life up to that point, I was always the only woman in the room. And forget the fact that I was an immigrant and person of color, I was the only woman in the room. So I was used to that. It was a good environment to be a part of then, even though all of them looked the same, came from the same background. Remember, the ideal senior executive of those days looked like that. So there was no different in PepsiCo. But imagine what it looks like now. The face of PepsiCo has changed so much. We've come a long way.
It's so interesting because you say that you set out to, almost like write policy papers, and now you're sharing, very deep and personal things from your journey. Are you happy that you shared those things with us?
Partly uncomfortable, partly happy. It's not easy to write these stories because you're putting your life out for the whole world to read and talk about, right? And so in some ways it feels a little uncomfortable. So I had to really make sure my husband was okay with everything I was saying because he matters to me more than anything else. He read it, he suggested edits, he said, this chapter doesn't read well. He was a really good contributor. My kids have barely read it. They said, Mom, it should be fine. It should be fine, What are you going to say that's new? We know what you're going to say. You've said it all. They're okay with it. But for me, even looking at the pictures, I'm like, oh God, this takes me back into my life in India, memory lane, my kids growing up. I look at my kids with these cheeks and I want to pinch them and hug them now. So I go through all of those feelings. But at the end of the day, it's a story worth telling.
And why did you want to tell it?
Because talking about what needs to be done to balance work and family and the support structure we need to build is more credible when you talk about the fact that I too went through those struggles. It's not that I was born with a support structure and it was me just sailing through life. I had to worry about all these issues. There were times I had to juggle. There were times where my kids, looked at me and used me as a punching bag because I wasn't there. I've been through all of these issues. And so I understand what people are going through. The big blessing was, since I moved up in the corporate career, I had money to afford my own help. A lot of people today don't have it.
You were able to afford help, and you also had your mother.
That made a huge difference.
Yes.
Multi-generational living. Hey, there's problems with it. Don't think it's a cakewalk, okay? Yeah. But on balance, it's a much better thing to have your parents with you. In my case, my mother and my in-laws helped so much.
How did she react to, this was new for her too, her daughter who was working so much and she was home. Did she ever pull you aside and say, what are you doing?
Now and then she'd say, just give up your job and just stay home. It's enough is enough. I told that to my kids one day. I said, they said, Mom, you never come to school, you don't do this and you don't do that. I said, fine, I'll quit my job and I'll stay home and take care of you guys. It lasted about 10 seconds, that comment, and they go, Mom, you can't quit your job. You've worked so hard for it, Mom, one kid said. The other kid said, my older one said, what I really need is two of you. One who's a mom at home and the other one who's the CEO or this executive so that, somehow we can balance both. So they're very proud of their mom, but they also love their mom and want their mom.
I think you're right. I think it was more powerful before you talked about the importance of work-life balance and what needs to happen to make that a possibility for women around the country, around the globe, that you share your story. But now, is it realistic that we'll see change? I think we've heard people say this before. What has to change in order to make this a reality for so many women around the world?
I think the first thing we have to do is when we talk about future of work, especially post-pandemic and with all the technologies coming in, we have to just stop talking about technology and robotics and automation and start to talk about families, family builders, women. Think of the jobs of the future. They're knowledge economy and there are lots of caring jobs. For both we need women because the knowledge economy requires the smartest people. Women are 70% of the high school valedictorians. They graduate in college at 10 points higher than the men. They have a whole point of GPA that's better than the men in STEM degrees. They're getting 48% of STEM degrees, 30% of engineering degrees. We need these women in the workforce. We want to give them the choice to be in paid work. If they don't want to, that's their choice. But we want to give them the support structure so they can contribute to the betterment of the country. And I think people now are beginning to recognize that we are in a war for talent. And we need the best and the brightest, which means all the women who want to work, young family builders who want to be in paid work, we should enable it.
Well, it sounds like for you, making sure women are treated equally and fairly and paid and compensated, it's not just a moral thing to do, it just makes good business sense as well.
I think you have to think of it as an economist, not a feminist. This is about allocating the country's resources. It's about growing the country, growing the GDP. In a war for talent, if you don't use all the talent you have, you're crazy. And I think the time has come to start thinking in those terms as opposed to, oh God, there's another female issue. It's not a female issue, it's families. We need families. We need children for the future. We need the brightest people, which also includes women, to be deployed in paid work.
There are men and women who are just working so hard to get food on the table right now. They may be watching the story. They're so busy just trying to get through the day that they can't think about policy and laws and you know what I mean. So are you telling them that right now there are these brilliant minds around the country who are trying to figure out in their behalf how to let them find some kind of a balance or a better balance with work and family?
People are thinking about it, people are working through it. This is not a political issue, this is a human issue. And I'm saying that a lot of people are engaged on it. We now have to move from talk and thought to action and figure out how communities come together, you know, how families come together, how we're going to take care of the aging people. I mean, teachers, nurses, I mean, how do we make sure they all come back to work? 2 million women dropped out of the workforce during the pandemic. We need almost all of them back in the workforce because those jobs need them.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Still to come on the Channel 2 News. Well, the waters are certainly receding now.
Still too close to call.
Lester Holt reporting from the Ground Zero, as it's being referred to.
It is, in fact, the taste of freedom. The Haitian people know a little something about resiliency. What's the biggest risk right now? Some of the troops who have been proud. I want to welcome you to the first presidential debate. In fact, we've been told we can't go any farther. You are some resilient folks. Let me give you a hint. Do you feel like the bad guy in this? Why should they believe you when they know that people are getting in? Has it been worth it to make this trip? Do you feel like you're giving a green light to politicians? How do you explain why your case has become so important?
Does the White House think they have an Afghanistan problem or a COVID problem? Do you believe the abortion issue should reflect the will of the people or the will of the elected officials? The vaccine mandate, is this going to work or is this going to backfire?
If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Will coronavirus come back next year?
So to help make sense of it all, we've created a newscast just for them. Man, you know a lot. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today. Let's go. Is the Delta variant more dangerous to kids, or is it simply more transmissible?
Maryland's Principal of the Year. I serve an amazing group of staff and students.
Does the White House think they have an Afghanistan problem or a COVID problem? Do you believe the abortion issue should reflect the will of the people or the will of the elected officials? The vaccine mandate, is this going to work or is this going to backfire?
If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press. The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
You're so passionate about this. You're almost out of your chair. I feel it. I could feel it when I read this book. Do you feel like that's your purpose, or what is your purpose?
Enabling young family builders to be able to build their families if they so choose to, but at the same time greasing the skids for women to engage in paid work if they so choose to, and not have to fight all the battles they have been fighting in the past.
Do you think, I mean, well, obviously it's getting a little better. I mean, you walk into the boardroom now, it looks a little more diverse, doesn't it? Or does it? I don't know.
It does.
I'm not in the room.
It does.
It does.
It's a whole lot different.
Are you encouraged by what you're seeing these days?
Extremely encouraged. So you're beginning to see the changing face of the boardroom. You're seeing better decisions as a consequence. It's not just the changing face. You're seeing better decisions, more innovation. You're seeing more discipline. So I think it's changing a lot of things in corporate America.
What would your message be to women in the next generation who are following in your footsteps and trying to balance work and family and a little bit of time for themselves and maybe a spouse?
I'm going to tell them it's a juggling act. I mean, if I try to downplay it, I'd be crazy. But I'm also going to tell them dream big. The economy needs you, needs your brains. And work with us to help you figure out how to balance, how to juggle work and family. How do we create the support structures to help you? Let's work together to figure this out. Because very often we've told young family builders, if you have kids, it's your problem. It's not your problem. You know, it's like when you have a kid, you're doing service to the country. You should get a letter which says, thank you for your service to the country. Think about that. You're producing the next generation of citizens and consumers for the country. So we have to say thank you to you, but thank you is not enough. A letter is not enough. What else are we going to do for you? And all that we're saying is, look, when a child turns 5, the state takes responsibility and says, we're going to help educate the child through the education system, 0 to 5. What can communities, families, to a certain extent the state, I'm not calling this a government program at all, how can we all come together to help the young family?
Let's fast forward 10 years. What changes do you see, or what are you hoping you see in the corporate world?
I think in the business world at large, government, corporate, small business, everything included, we have paid leave for every family, either for maternity, paternity care and or sick leave care. We have a well-tuned system for flexibility or predictability of work hours. You can work remotely, you can come into work, and we won't discriminate against you because you work flexibly. And a beautifully set up childcare system between communities, families, state, whatever, whoever works together. The 3 parts of this care trifecta working together.
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine?
I mean,
it's doable.
Is it doable?
It's doable.
In 10 years?
In 10 years, it's doable if you put our minds to it.
Is that the hope of this book?
That's the hope.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Will coronavirus come back next year?
So to help make sense of it all, we've created a newscast just for them. Man, you know a lot. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
Hey everybody, it's Hoda Kotb from the Today Show. I am so excited to tell you about my new podcast, Making Space with Hoda Kotb. I sit down with some incredible people and we'll hear some uplifting stories.
Listen to Making Space now on Apple Podcasts.
Make the most of your day with
Today in 30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show in a mere 30 minutes.
Savannah and Hoda bring you what you must know. The biggest moments of the morning.
One Republic!
Exclusive interviews.
Why did it work for you?
You're right. I am more talented than the rest.
And important headlines.
Major medical news this morning.
Watch Today in 30 on your schedule. Streaming every day on Today All Day.
It was a wealthy, idyllic town forced to confront racism, but when the school board presented its plan, it ignited a national firestorm.
Critical race theory
Racism in reverse. False narrative.
Shame. This is Southlake. All episodes available now.
Hey everybody, it's Hoda Kotb from the Today Show. I am so excited to tell you about my new podcast, Making Space with Hoda Kotb. I sit down with some incredible people and we'll hear some uplifting stories.
Listen to Making Space now on Apple Podcasts.
Last question, I talk about how vividly you paint the picture of your childhood in India. Do you think about those days, especially now that you were able to kind of pour your heart out into this book? Do you think of that little girl in India?
I think of the little girl in terms of how far she's come, and sometimes I pinch myself saying, how did it happen? Is it even possible?
What did she look like? If I saw her rushing down the street, little Indra, what did she look like?
She never walked, she only ran. She always smiled. She always smiled. And if she could walk in a straight line, she avoided it and went over a chair and a rock and everything and then went there. I mean, nothing was a hurdle for me. Nothing. If the boys climbed trees, I was going to climb trees. If I fell and broke my hand, tough luck, I broke my hand. Let's get on with it. Hurry up, let's get on. So it was one of these ultimate tomboys who just thought life was for enjoying.
And here she is sitting across from me.
Do you want to see what it looks like? Okay. Here's the big reveal.
That is huge.
Huge, right?
That's way bigger than the baby. Hot?
Welcome to Dylan Dishes, Cooking with Cal. In this Today All Day series, I'm looking back at some of my favorite Cooking with Cal recipes and sharing my top kitchen tips. Today, it's all about the Bake Ahead brunch. As a busy parent, I love anything that I can make ahead of time, and breakfast is no exception. First up, it's my classic cinnamon buns. Calvin loves these cinnamon buns because, well, who doesn't love cinnamon buns? I think he realizes that it's a special treat that we don't get every morning. I mean, it's something besides cereal or oatmeal or something healthy. These are kind of a dessert for breakfast, and they're totally worth it. For this recipe, you'll need warm milk, yeast, sugar, eggs, melted butter, flour, cinnamon, and salt. And for the best part, the homemade icing, you'll need cream cheese, butter, powdered sugar, and vanilla.
You've never made this recipe before, but I'm positive when you test it, you are going to love it. Okay, first things first, we have to warm up the milk because the milk just came out of the fridge and it's really cold. Now, can you pour this into here? Let me move it a little closer.
Sorry, I can't reach that far.
Right. We'll pour it in there. So instead of using regular yeast, we're gonna use instant yeast. So we don't have to wait like, 9 months for it to rise, okay? Careful, this is melted butter. Okay, sprinkle in the sugar. A little salt. All right, so now we need an egg and a yolk from an egg. Okay.
That's a pop.
So now let's pop this off. I'm gonna sprinkle in some flour, okay? Is it getting harder and harder?
Yeah. What's that for?
This is, remember how you just said the dough is getting hard to work with?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna let this dough hook do all the work. So when we leave this here for an hour, the dough is gonna rise and fill up the whole bowl. It's gonna grow.
With this top, what do we do with that?
It just helps keep the dough nice and warm. I'll see you back here in an hour. Do you want to see what it looks like? Okay, here's the big reveal.
That is huge.
Huge, right?
That's way bigger than the baby. Hot?
What do you think, Ollie? Are we doing a good job?
What is that? The dough. Oh, what do we do?
Whoa, it's nice and warm, right? Good job. Oh, it's nice and tight. Soft. Awesome. I see you, Ollie. Don't they look so pretty?
Mm-hmm.
I'm expecting these will be delicious. All right, let's wait 45 minutes and then we'll put them in the oven. Pull this off, big reveal. Oh, baby, these look delicious. Okay, let's make the frosting.
Actually so yummy.
Actually so yummy. Should we check out this bun in the oven?
Yeah.
Ooh, baby. Spread this all over. Can we share it?
Why?
Because it's huge. Oh, that is good.
Before we get to the next recipe, let's answer a viewer question from Instagram. How did you teach Cal how to crack eggs? That's a very good question. I would say a lot of patience.
Okay.
That first egg that your child cracks is going to squish in his hands or her hands and get all over the place. So I recommend always cracking one egg into a little bowl off to the side. Don't do it right over the main mixture because you're going to need to pick out a lot of those shells. Teach them to just make a little crack and then they'll stick their fingers in the hole.
Do your thumbs and then pull it apart. Okay.
Just get to that point. You're still gonna have a lot of shells, but eventually they'll be able to stick their finger in the hole and peel it open like that. And eventually they sort of just understand how the whole shell thing works. But patience, you're gonna need a lot of patience and a lot of extra bowls.
Good crack. Nice, buddy, you
We're getting so good at this.
Okay, let's answer another question from Instagram. How old was Cal when you started cooking with him? I think Calvin was almost 2 because I remember one of the first things I started cooking with him were holiday cookies. So his birthday's in the middle of December, so it was leading up to Christmas time. And I put this awesome stool right next to me that got him, almost as tall as I was. And he just watched me bake these, and I let him do whatever I thought he can do. And I let him make a mess. That's what kids are going to do at first. They're going to make such a mess. Flour is going to get everywhere. Eggshells are going to get everywhere. But I mean, you can clean up a mess and it's fun. And the more they do it, the better they get and the cleaner they'll be. And when they're nice and young, they like to help clean up too. So that's always good to put them to work. When we come back, Bake Ahead Brunch continues with my blueberry buckle. It's my fancy way of adding a fruity twist to a classic crumb cake.
It was a wealthy, idyllic town forced to confront racism, but when the school board presented its plan, it ignited a national firestorm.
Critical race theory.
Racism in reverse. False narrative.
Shame.
This is Southlake. All episodes available now.
Still to come on the Channel 2 News. Well, the waters are certainly receding now.
Still too close to call.
Lester Holt reporting from Ground Zero, as it's being referred to.
It is, in fact, the taste of freedom. The Haitian people know a little something about resiliency. What's the biggest risk right now? Some of the troops who have been proud. I want to welcome you to the first presidential debate. In fact, we've been told we can't go any farther. Here are some resilient folks. Let me get a hand. Do you feel like the bad guy in this? Why should they believe you when they know that people are getting in? Has it been worth it to make this trip? Do you feel like you're giving a green light to politicians? How do you explain why your case has become so important? Do you feel like the bad guy in this? Why should they believe you when they know that people are getting in? Has it been worth it to make this trip? Do you feel like you're giving a green light to politicians? How do you explain why your case has become so important?
Controversy in Southlake tonight after teens posted a racist video.
It was a wealthy, idyllic town forced to confront racism.
My children were told Rosa Parks is dead. You all have to sit in the back of the bus.
But when the school board presented its plan, this small town fight ignited a national firestorm.
Critical race theory.
Racism in reverse.
False narrative of rampant racism.
Shame.
This is Southlake, an NBC News podcast. All episodes available now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey everybody, it's Hoda Kotb from The Today Show. I am so excited to tell you about my new podcast, Making Space with Hoda Kotb. I sit down with some incredible people and we'll hear some uplifting stories.
Listen to Making Space now on Apple Podcasts.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app. Make the most of your day with
Today in 30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show
in a mere 30 minutes.
Watch Today in 30 on your schedule, streaming every day on Today All Day.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
We're back with more Dylan Dishes, Cooking with Cal, and today is all about the simple ways Calvin and I take brunch to the next level. Next up, it's another of my favorite breakfast treats. We call it blueberry buckle. I, to be honest, have no idea what a blueberry buckle is. It came from my husband's family, and he always said his grandmother made the best blueberry buckle. When I saw it, I'm like, oh, it's just like a coffee cake with blueberries. I can make that. And I didn't know what else to call it, so I just kept calling it blueberry buckle. Must be a New England thing. For the cake, you'll need flour, cornstarch, salt, ginger powder, baking powder, egg, vanilla, sugar, blueberries, of course. And for the crumble topping, you'll need cinnamon, salt, brown sugar, and butter. Are you ready to help? I normally make this recipe with cake flour. It's a little bit lighter and it makes it a little more fluffier. You can't always find cake flour, or sometimes you just don't have it. So I'm going to show you a trick using all-purpose flour and cornstarch. The trick is to make cake flour out of all-purpose flour. You take a cup of flour, remove 2 tablespoons of that flour, and then add in 2 tablespoons of cornstarch.
just made cake flour. Cool, huh? We need 1 teaspoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of salt. Okay, and we need a half a teaspoon of
ginger.
Okay, while you do that, I'm going to put the butter in here.
I'm ready.
Okay, ready? Count with me. We need 3 of these.
1, 2, 3.
Awesome.
Yummy. Smell it. Tell me when I can eat it.
Oh, I'll tell you when you can. Okay, can you pour this egg in there?
Smells good. I'm gonna mix it.
I love the smell of vanilla.
Yum.
So good. Oh, thanks, baby. Hit this one over here. Just to like the 4. Nice. Okay.
Tell me when can I taste it?
Okay.
Can I taste it?
Not yet.
Why?
Okay, we're gonna put in 3 cups of blueberries.
Can I taste it?
3 generous cups of blueberries.
That's a lot of blueberries.
It looks like a lot of blueberries, but they are just gonna cook down, make the whole cake purple. It's gonna be so juicy. So now the best part, the topping. Wanna help? Okay, so we need a teaspoon cinnamon, some salt.
It's gonna take a very long time.
Half a cup of brown sugar.
Can I taste it? Yummy.
Yummy. Packed brown sugar.
Yeah. What's that? Is that the topping?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the best part?
I think it might be. Yummy. Stand back.
Is it ready?
Let's find out.
Yeah! Yeah. It's ready. That makes me happy.
Let's get to some of the questions you had for me on Instagram when I posted this recipe. Amanda asked, can this be made with frozen blueberries? And to be honest, I've actually never made it with frozen blueberries. I tend not to like frozen blueberries all that much. I feel like they don't have as much flavor. They tend to be kind of watery and small. So I think this is really something I eat seasonally. I don't really cook it throughout the year, and it's really just that height of blueberry season when you get those big, juicy blueberries. I just find it tastes so yummy. And Pammy asked, can you use other fruit? I'm sure you can. I'm not a big experimenter. Once I try something for the first time, I kind of just stick with it, and I know this is my blueberry buckle recipe, or this is my apple crisp recipe. And I never try to work in other fruit, but I bet it would taste delicious with strawberries. I bet peaches would kind of taste really good in there. So you'll have to try it for me and let me know what you think. For these recipes and more Cooking with Cal, go to today.com/DylanDishes.
Let's see how fast I could cut these.
No, that's terrible.
I'm Billie James, and this is Kids in the Kitchen. My name is Isabella, and I'm in 2nd grade, and I'm 7 years old. When I first started to cook, I was 4 years old, and the first thing I ever made was scrambled eggs. My mom taught me how to cook. Some of my favorite Jamaican dishes that I make with my mom are cow foot, brown stewed chicken, curry goat, curry chicken. Cow foot is a Jamaican dish that my mom makes that I absolutely love. I think Grammy Pearl used to make cow foot. My great-great-grandma had a restaurant in Jamaica. Everyone in my family loves to cook, so that's why I like to cook for everyone in my family. I have my own lemonade business, and it's called Sunshine Lemonade. Some of the things I like to do are to play Roblox with my friends, playing outside in the treehouse with my sister. Well, anything to get out, to have fun, really. I'm also a Girl Scout and I love to ride my bike. Today I'm so excited because today we will be making my upside down pineapple cake and my sunshine lemonade. What I love most about it is it's not too sugary, and we also put applesauce instead of eggs for people who are vegan. This is what you need to get started. Some cooking spray, some coconut oil, brown sugar, pineapple slices, and maraschino cherries. I think maraschino cherries is a funny name. I think it might be French. You're going to need a 9-inch pan, some parchment paper. Then you're going to put it at the bottom of the pan. Now you want to spray the sides with some cooking spray. Now, what you are going to want to do is you're going to get your coconut oil, pour it at the bottom, but make sure it is melted coconut oil so the cake can come out nice and moist. Now we are going to get our brown sugar, pinch and sprinkle the coconut oil and the sugar. It's going to make a nice caramel taste when it's done. Yep, you have to use the whole thing. I want something really sweet today. We want something really sweet today. No more vegetables. No more vegetables. Today we deserve a treat. Now you are going to want to grab the pineapple, put it in the center, and I'm going to make a flower design. And then, now I'm going to put another pineapple right there, pineapple right there, whew, okay, and then I'm going to put it right there, and it's cherry time. Okay, 1 cherry, 2 cherry, 3 cherry, 4 cherry, 5 cherry, 6 cherry, 7 cherries more. The reason why we put the pineapples and cherries on the bottom is because the bottom is the top. So when you flip it, it looks like a cake. And now we are going to make the cake batter. Put that right there. Cake batter time. Now we are going to preheat the oven to 350 degrees. Now I've set up all my cake batter ingredients. Now we are going to start with all our dry ingredients and then mix them together. First, we are going to start with our baking powder. You have to make sure all that gets in there. Hey, you're hiding from me, aren't you? Now, the salt. Maybe I'll take some. That's better. Now, our favorite part, the shredded coconut. It's time for our sugar. Let's mix it well so it can combine. Now we're gonna mix up our wet ingredients. Okay, first we are going to start with some coconut oil. This might look very weird, but I promise you it's gonna look better when it's cooked. Let's open this vanilla. Okay, gotta make sure it's 1 tablespoon. This should be good. Okay. Oh no, cut. Okay, we'll put some more back in there. Okay, vanilla goes in there. It's not that big of a deal. just gonna be a little bit of vanilla. It's okay. It's okay. Who doesn't like some vanilla? Right. Now it's time for the pineapple juice. Oh my goodness, this is very chunky coconut milk. Last but not least, our apple cider vinegar. Now, mix well to combine. The coconut oil and the applesauce are gonna make the cake nice and moist. Now it's time to mix the wet ingredients with the dry ingredients. Let's grab our handy dandy whiskety. Oh my, this is very thick. Oh my. Now it's time to put the cake batter in the cake pan. This is kind of having a sad part, but now we have to put it in the oven and that takes a whole entire hour. So I think I'm gonna have to call over Mom. Mom, can you help me? So the cake is in the oven and it's gonna take an hour. So in the meanwhile, how about we work on my spicy Jamaican lemonade?
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today. Let's go. Is the Delta variant more dangerous to kids, or is it simply more transmissible?
Maryland's Principal of the Year. I serve an amazing group of staff and students.
Do you feel like the bad guy in this? Why should they believe you when they know that people are getting in? Has it been worth it to make this trip?
Do you feel like you're giving a green light to politicians? How do you explain why your case has become so important?
Controversy in South Lake tonight after teens posted a racist video.
It was a wealthy, idyllic town forced to confront racism.
My children were told Rosa Parks is dead. You all have to sit in the back of the bus.
But when the school board presented its plan, this small town fight ignited a national firestorm.
Critical race theory.
Racism in reverse. False narrative of rampant racism.
This is South Lake, an NBC News podcast. All episodes available now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Make the most of your day with
Today in 30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show in a mere 30 minutes.
Watch Today in 30 on your schedule, streaming every day on Today All Day. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app. Make the most of your day with
Today in 30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show in a mere 30 minutes.
Watch Today in 30 on your schedule, streaming every day on Today All Day. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Let's go. Is the Delta variant more dangerous to kids, or is it simply more transmissible?
Maryland's Principal of the Year. I serve an amazing group of staff and students.
It was a wealthy, idyllic town forced to confront racism, but when the school board presented its plan, it ignited a national firestorm.
Critical race theory.
Racism in reverse. False narrative. Shame.
This is South Lake. All episodes available now.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
This cake goes great with my spicy Jamaican sunshine lemonade. Let me go grab the ingredients and let me show you how to make it. I need 8 lemons. 1, 2, 3. Oops. Okay. Okay, this is just getting ridiculous. So what you're going to need is lemons, fresh turmeric, fresh ginger root, some brown sugar, and molasses, and water too. So let's start peeling. I like to use a spoon to peel turmeric and ginger sometimes. It's really easy. More mess, I demand more mess. Turmeric can stain your hands, so sometimes you might want to use gloves so you don't get a stain. Now, let's start peeling some ginger. You could also use ground turmeric and ginger. I like using fresh spices because it gives a better flavor. Now I have to slice these, but it's a little hard for me. So, Mom! Here's the next piece. And you're done. Okay, thanks. Now I'm gonna add some water to the ginger and the turmeric and put it to a boil. Now let's start cutting up these lemons. You wanna be really careful to make sure you don't cut where your fingers are because we're not cutting off fingers today, okay? Okay, well we're gonna get the lemon squeezer. Thank you. I love this machine because it has little holes in it so the seeds won't go through. And Bella squeezes lemon, she don't play. So the ginger and turmeric looks so good, it smells amazing in here. But now it's time to remove it from the stove. Okay, now I'm gonna add sugar, the molasses, and the lemon juice. But I wanna do it while it's hot so then it can all dissolve and come together. So first let's start with some sugar. I don't wanna splash it. How about we use a spoon? That'll make life more easy right now. Do you see how satisfying that is? Now it's time for the molasses. It's so sticky. One time I tried it. It tastes a lot like honey, so I kind of liked it. Time for the lemon juice. We're going to let it cool for a bit. Okay. Put that right on top of there. This is my most favorite lemonade ever. It looks delicious. Right there. Oh my God. Ooh. This right here could make us some money. You know what goes great with lemonade? My cake. I think it's finally ready. Let's flip it. Now you have to let it sit for 15 minutes. It's gonna be the longest 15 minutes of my life. Flip it. Oop. Oh my goodness, that's exactly what we want. And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. Oh, wow. It looks so good. This I will eat in one bite. Now that my cake and my lemonade are ready, I'm so excited to share this with my favorite person, my mom. Thank you. It looks amazing. I know, it looks so good.
Okay, how it tastes.
Okay.
It's super moist.
There we go.
Thank you. Cheers. Delicious.
Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I loved you guys being in my kitchen with me today. Hopefully you can make this recipe too. See you later. Bye.
Welcome back. Amy Poehler juggles many hats in her new movie.
That's right. She's the star, producer, and director of Wine Country, which follows 6 longtime friends as they reunite for a weekend of wine tasting in Napa Valley. Take a look.
Let me know what you smell. There's no wrong answers.
Green apple?
Yeah.
Yes.
Very good. Green apple.
I want to say canned peaches?
No.
You said there was no wrong answer.
Yeah, but, you know, peaches. There's no peaches in there.
Okay.
What else you got?
Oh, lemon.
Yes? Very good.
Oh, I taste the lemon, yeah.
You don't taste it, you smell it.
That's amazing. Amy, good morning.
Good morning.
So this is just like basically you and all your besties going to wine country, and you're like, let's make a movie out of this.
Yeah, we really fooled them. Yeah, it's me and a bunch of women from SNL, and it's based off of a real trip that we took to Napa a few years ago. It's not a documentary. We're playing characters.
There's something about Napa, though. I actually did a trip once, and you know, you think it's sort of like this high-class, sophisticated thing, which it is, but you drink enough wine, and it's like basically a weekend in Vegas.
Well, you know, I don't know about you, but I find my female relationships are super important to me, and we go deep pretty fast.
Yep.
And we don't have a lot of time to spend because we're juggling a lot of stuff, so you just kind of jam it in when you're together. So that's kind of what the movie's about.
And these are some of your best friends,
Yeah.
6 of your best friends. So and you directed this.
Yeah.
Did they listen to you?
No. They never listened to me once.
I actually read a quote where somebody said, like, yeah, she sometimes had to get bossy because we would be talking and interrupting her.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows each other really well. We didn't have to do any rehearsal because everybody knows how each other works. But my job a lot of times is just to corral the group, to get them over to the couch so I could call action and we could get started.
Jenna was just asking if the scene we just saw was improv, which
Yeah.
it was.
Yeah.
Was there a lot of that where you're like, just do your
You know, Liz Kakowski and Emily Spivey, the writers of the script, did an amazing job. So we kind of stuck to it. But there was some, you know, you don't have a group of women that talented together and not allow them to play. So we certainly did that.
So I also read that they said you're a little bit like your character and that you're the planner of the group.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so stressed right now about what this royal baby name is. I want to check that off the list. Like, what
do you-
is it?
what do you think?
I don't know.
Albert?
Is that? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's
Alexander?
Justin Bieber Windsor.
Natalie Morales thought Spencer because of Diana Spencer.
If
That
it's
was Diana's
Spencer,
maiden
I
name.
will lose it.
Okay,
I
well,
will
I wish we
technically
could
lose
break
it.
that news for you right now.
I know. What is the baby name?
So you are a planner, and I read
Yeah.
that you planned one trip that went awry because there were some bed bugs. Is that true?
Oh, that's right. You know, I think at the end of the day, we don't know if they were actually technically bed bugs, but we did go on a trip and there were bugs in the bed. So does that make bed bugs?
Well,
I think what happened.
It was like my worst nightmare.
Oh.
Which is we arrived at a house and but we switched houses.
Okay. So you took care of it.
I took care of it, but it was for a planner like me, it was awful.
Now, Amy, you are always full of surprises when I see you, and I had no idea until I was reading up for this interview that you love Judge Judy.
She's
I
my
did not know
favorite.
you loved the law.
I love everything about Judge Judy. I love that she's a boss on and off screen. I love her show. I think it's an incredible thing to watch, especially when you're searching for fairness and equality in the world. So I think she's a queen.
She just got her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
No, it was the Daytime Emmy Awards
And you gave it to
Lifetime
her.
Achievement Award. Yes, and I surprised them by giving it to her. And look how cute she is.
looks great. But
She
did
has
she
a new
know
hairdo.
that you were
She
such
did.
a super
I would
fan?
never, Judge Judy. I would never surprise Judge Judy.
Yes.
I would ask.
Yes.
I asked for permission to be in her presence, and she said yes.
That's so cool.
She's the coolest.
Do you like her new do? There was a lot of talk about her hair. Her hair.
Anything Judge Judy does is fine with
fine,
me.
yeah.
If she wore a baseball hat for the rest of her life, I'd be happy with that.
You're directing another movie on
Yeah.
Netflix. Is this your new thing?
Yeah, we're starting another feature in the fall. It's called Moxie. It's based off of a YA novel by Jennifer Mathieu of the same name, and it's about a 16-year-old girl kind of coming to terms with the stuff happening in her high school and learning about her mother's riot girl past. So I'm really excited.
We love to mark anniversaries around here. Did you know it is the 15th anniversary of
How
Mean
is that
Girls?
possible?
That is correct.
Makes
And
me
the
feel
role I
old.
love, Regina George's cool mom. I'm not a mom. I'm a cool mom.
Yeah.
Are you a cool mom?
No.
Me neither.
I'm kind of a strict mom, I think.
really?
I'm more on the stricter side. Yeah, I have 2 boys.
How old are they now?
They're 8 and 10.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they would not say I was cool anyway.
How would they describe you? As a strict mom?
I think they would describe me as fun, but a little strict. No, I don't think I have much in common with that character. Thank goodness.
I know. I
Yeah, that
think that's the
character's a
safe way
little.
to be.
She's a little off her rocker.
It was a wealthy, idyllic town forced to confront racism. But when the school board presented its plan, it ignited a national firestorm.
Critical race theory.
Racism in reverse.
False narrative.
Shame.
This is Southlake. All episodes available now.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
Make the most of your day with Today All Day. Get closer to all your friends at Today in a whole new way.
Today in 30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show in a mere 30 minutes.
Shop today with Jill Martin.
We're helping you shop like never before.
The latest styles and biggest names. Today food.
Things are heating up in the Today All Day kitchen.
Cooking essentials and recipe inspiration.
Get ready. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm so ready.
Only on Today All Day.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Will coronavirus come back next year?
So to help make sense of it all, we've created a newscast just for them. Man, you know a lot. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today.
Let's go.
Is the Delta variant more dangerous to kids, or is it simply more transmissible?
Maryland's Principal of the Year. I serve an amazing group of staff and students.
Good evening, world. I'm Tina Fey coming to you from the beautiful Rainbow Room in New York City, where indoor dining and outdoor muggings are back.
Yes. And I am Amy Poehler here at the Beverly Hilton District 7 New Angeles. And this is the 78th Annual Hunger Games.
That is Amy Poehler 1 week ago tonight, teaming up with her friend Tina Fey to host the Golden Globe Awards for a fourth time, but this year from different coasts. Amy and Tina have been funny together for nearly 30 years, going back to their early days of improv in Chicago. Believe it or not, Tina had to twist Amy's arm to convince her to join Saturday Night Live, from the comedy troupe Poehler created and loved. Amy spent 7 seasons as one of SNL's biggest stars, followed by 7 more as Leslie Knope on the beloved NBC series Parks and Recreation. Now, Poehler is out with a buzzed-about new Netflix movie called Moxie. Amy and I got together last week for a virtual Sunday sit-down to talk about all of it.
Sorry, I'm just doing a little set dressing stand.
Hi, Amy. Thanks for doing this.
Hi, Willie.
Amy Poehler has spent her career making people laugh.
I put my feet up, I pour myself a glass of white wine.
Good for you.
So what if it was 8:30 in the morning? I'm a grown-up, mind your business. I'm not like a regular mom. I'm a cool mom. Right, Regina?
Please stop talking.
Now, the 49-year-old is playing a much different kind of cool mom in the Netflix teen drama, Moxie.
Don't keep secrets from me. Although I know you will be safe and smart and use your head.
I'm actually already pregnant.
It's a very funny joke. Right?
Poehler also directs the movie about a teenaged girl inspired by her mother's young activism to start a high school revolution.
How did you know what to do? Like, how to protest something?
We didn't. You know, we made a ton of mistakes.
It's a coming-of-age movie, or coming-of-rage movie, as we like to say, because she's trying to figure out what's bothering her about her small school.
You've directed before. What was it like to step into this young adult project with all these young actors?
I really wanted to make sure people felt safe, protected. Also, I was dealing with actors who were super talented, but, you know, some kind of in the beginning of their career. And they have so much energy. So I just worked them day and night, just worked them. Worked them to the bone. I just went again. Because they're so young. You know how many kids? They can sleep all weekend.
I am curious what kind of a high school kid you were.
I dabbled in a lot of different groups. I think, to be very honest, I presented like an extrovert, but I was a lot more introverted than I knew. Our hair was just so big, Willie.
Were you full perm or?
Thank you for asking. I did do a perm at one point, but she didn't take. I think I remember my hairstylist saying.
You sure wouldn't know the Burlington, Massachusetts native ever was a big-haired introvert. She dove into improv comedy at Boston College, then moved to Chicago, where she joined up with some of America's most famous troupes and created one of her own, the Upright Citizens Brigade.
It sounded like a door closing the minute I met you.
In Chicago, Poehler met another young comedian named Tina Fey,
Yeah, you could say that.
beginning a long friendship and a career of collaboration. What do you think it is about the two of you when you get together?
I think it's rare and wonderful to meet somebody who's your friend who also works the same way you do. So because we kind of trained at the same places and work the same way, it's so easy. We share a very similar vocabulary, especially when you're about to go do the Golden Globes or about to do live television for the first time, or you're trying something new where it feels really good to have somebody who knows your timing, your rhythm.
In 2001, Fey convinced Poehler to join her at Saturday Night Live. I think it was your first show. It was the post 9/11 show because you got there in that fall of 2001 and you're in the Will sketch with the
yeah, Will's
the
patriotic.
Yeah. And you held it together very well, I should say. You were probably trying not to break in one of your first sketches ever on the show.
I was starting a live comedy show from New York at a time when everybody was saying, we'll never laugh again. Comedy is dead. That's it, the end. And as a young person, I remember thinking, excuse me? I'm very young and I will laugh again.
I've talked to a lot of people at SNL who say the beginning is kind of hard as you're trying to, how do I fit into this group?
I was very, very lucky. I mean, Tina was there when there were so many people there that were people that I could lean on.
Amy Poehler!
John Pardo would say my name. I would allow myself this moment to just actually feel it. I can't believe I'm here.
One time I drank a ton of Mountain Dew and I stayed up all night and then I was like, oh, what a beautiful morning.
Do I really laugh like that?
Oh, yeah.
Poehler made history with Fey when the pair became the first female anchor team on Weekend Update.
Hello, I'm Amy Poehler. I'm Tina Fey, and here are tonight's top stories.
In 2008, her last year at SNL, Poehler landed the lead as eager local bureaucrat Leslie Knope in NBC's cult hit Parks and Recreation.
I'm just going to tell you I'm a little tired. Okay. So I may have parked on your front lawn.
I am not Leslie Knope. There are times I wish I was more like her.
In our cynical world, she's hopeful and earnest.
She's not cool. She is never cool. And I tend to like people that aren't cool because I feel like there's a vulnerability there to care about something.
What's Galentine's Day? Oh, it's only the best day of the year.
The story of that show, we could have never predicted. It was always on the bubble to be canceled every year it was on. And at the very end, it started to gain momentum just as it was kind of ending. And then it had a life in streaming, and it's become this really important show for a lot of people.
Last weekend, Poehler and Fey joined forces again to host the Golden Globes, pandemic style.
Tina and I are hosting from 2 different cities tonight.
You won't even notice.
Your professional career has been collaboration. It must be sort of a foreign experience for you just to be home with the kids solo and trying to make content.
Yeah, and comedy especially, because so much of it is timing and feeling that sense of really watching the other person. What has been so interesting is how has this technology provided a different rhythm that's been a different way to consume news and make art. Like, I love TikTok, and I think that I think the people on TikTok are using it in the best way. I'm going to take your attention and I'm going to connect us.
Are you on TikTok? Because I thought you were no social media.
I don't have a TikTok account.
Oh, just a voyeur.
If TikTok was a window, I would be a weird person standing outside of it.
You felt connected just parting the bushes and watching from the window.
I felt connected in that really appropriate, not creepy way where you breathe against your neighbor's glass and you watch them make pizza rolls.
Amy Poehler and Nick Offerman.
I just like looking at them. Look at them. They're the hosts of NBC's craft competition show, Making It. Back for season 3 tonight. Take a look. Yeah, look at that face.
For your first Faster Craft Challenge, we want to see the most fun version of you in the form of an original handmade toy. This toy can represent you, something you love, or something you used to love as a child.
Your toy must have an interactive element.
Now, to get you started, here's our world-famous catchphrase. And listen close, because we're only going to say it all the time. Now,
make it!
I mean, I love it so much. There's so much joy. Amy and Nick, I mean, did you really think this would catch on? You're about to get to season 3, Nick. Why do you think people love it so much?
I think, the state of the world in recent years has made everybody want any kind of hug they can get their hands on. And this is a hug in the form of a television show that's also inspiring and fun. I think anybody likes to have their creativity awakened and also watch other people be geniuses with a glue gun.
Yeah, Amy, I love it because it's not for meanies. Like, you got to be a nice person. Yeah. Did you set out when you were making the show? Did you say, you know what, let's keep that piece of it out of our competition show?
100%. When we pitched the show to NBC, we were like, there's going to be no tension and no real stakes. Are you guys in?
But a lot of glue guns. Yeah. But Amy, I mean, you said, because you came on, I think, when the show launched, and we talked to you, and you were like, I'm not a crafty person. So first of all, have you picked up anything? And second of all, then how did it fit for you? What drew you to it?
Well, honestly, the fact that Nick wanted to do it with me was pretty much the reason why I knew it would be such a great show. But I kind of represent the non-maker in this show, the person that's curious and interested about process, which I've always been, but doesn't even know where to start. And so this show is for people who feel like they're really advanced makers, and then people who are just hoping to get in their garage and try something. And so I represent those people.
Well, Nick, I know that you're the crafty one, but I love that Amy said the reason that she wanted to do the show because it was with you. But when she called you up initially and said, hey, Nick, will you join me? What did you think?
Oh, gosh. Well, it's like if our World Series winning team had broken up, and a few years later, the ace pitcher called and said, hey, I know we're not playing ball anymore, but do you want to get together? It's an idea for a show. We'll play catch. I'll be really funny, and you just follow me around and like trim your beard and maybe, compare glue to paste once in a while. And I said, that sounds like my dream job.
You guys go way back. I mean, we know about Parks and Rec, and we'll talk about that in a minute, but I was really intrigued because you two met in the 90s. Amy, what was your very first impression of Nick?
I had an amazing first impression of Nick because he was doing a play at the time, because Nick used to do a ton of kind of off-Broadway Chicago theater, and he was playing Satan, I believe, or a Satan-like person in some kind of play. So he had dyed hair that I feel like was shaped into some kind of scary configuration. And so, Nick has like an incredible range of the warmest giggle and the warmest person, but he can also look very scary. And so I met him when he was scary, but, I approached him slowly, and we became friends.
Well, y'all made magic so many times. Parks and Rec, as Savannah mentioned, was such a big hit. You guys get together. We've seen some virtual get-togethers. So I'm sure people are wondering, can we see, do we expect any more Parks and Rec in our future?
I mean, I feel like Nick and I are probably the most eager and willing to do anything. We don't know how to play it cool. So, yeah, we'll do it anytime. I mean, I can't speak for you, Nick, but.
Call me.
What say you, Nick? Call me.
Yeah, I mean, any time we can get back in that boat. I love boats. I love fishing. Let's do it.
Okay. You're a woodworker. You could probably make the boat, honestly.
I could.
Amy and Nick, it's always a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Will coronavirus come back next year?
So to help make sense of it all, we've created a newscast just for them. Man, you know a lot. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Will coronavirus come back next year?
So to help make sense of it all, we've created a newscast just for them. Man, you know a lot. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
The Meet the Press Chuck Todd Cast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
Make the most of your day with
Today in 30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show
in a mere 30 minutes.
Savannah and Hoda bring you what you must know. The biggest moments of the morning.
One Republic!
Exclusive interviews.
Why did it work for you?
You're right. I am more talented than the rest.
And important headlines.
Major medical news this morning.
Watch Today in 30 on your schedule. Streaming every day on Today All Day.
It was a wealthy, idyllic town forced to confront racism. But when the school board presented its plan, it ignited a national firestorm.
Critical race theory.
Racism
in reverse.
False narrative.
Shame.
This is Southlake. All episodes available now.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Let's go. Is the Delta variant more dangerous to kids, or is it simply more transmissible?
Maryland's Principal of the Year. I serve an amazing group of staff and students.
The Meet the Press Chuck Todd Cast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
The Meet the Press Chuck Todd Cast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
Actress, director, best-selling author, TV host, mom, and the always hilarious Amy Poehler.
I think we need more superlatives. Amy has kept us laughing from her early days on Weekend Update Desk on SNL to her role on the Emmy-nominated hit series Parks and Rec.
Now, fresh off her Golden Globes hosting gig, Amy's got Moxie, a coming-of-age film that she stars in and also directs.
And making her first ever national TV appearance is our breakout star, Hadley Robinson. She plays Amy's on-screen daughter, Vivian, who is determined to shake things up at her high school. Let's take a look.
Who are you kissing in the driveway?
Seth Acosta? Seth Acosta. Oh, was he that little kid who peed his pants on that field trip to the Naval Museum?
Mom, I don't know. Don't be weird, okay?
Well, Vivian, if you're gonna be kissing him more, I have to meet him. Don't keep secrets from me. Although I know you will be safe and smart and use your head.
I'm actually already pregnant. You have no idea what I'm capable of.
It's a very funny joke. Right?
Right? Hi, guys. Hi, Hadley. Hi, Amy. Good morning. This looks so great. By the way, you all look like mother-daughter a little, too.
I know, the casting works.
Oh, Hadley, let's start with you because, my God, you got to work opposite Amy Poehler. Tell us about that.
I know. I feel incredibly lucky to have had worked with her as a director and also to have acted with her and just known her as a human. It's been incredible. Now it feels like family, the whole cast, but Amy is the best. She does it all.
Amy, as an actress and a director, what do you feel like? Do you feel like women have their voices heard? Do you feel like we still have a long way to go? What do you feel like?
Well, first of all, it's so good to see my daughter this morning. Good morning.
Hi. Hi,
you look beautiful.
You look burnt.
I feel like this project was so great to work on because there were women in front of and behind the camera, and we all got to collaborate together. And, you know, the author of this book, Jennifer Mathieu, is a high school teacher, and she wrote from experience. And so, I mean, I work every day, all day with women, so it's my favorite way to work.
Amy, it got me thinking about you in high school. So what were your senior superlatives in high school? Were you like the funniest, or what were you?
Well, you know, I went to high school in the 80s, and so there was a lot of superlatives that were very inappropriate. Oh, there I am. I'll never get to that.
We asked that question just to see that picture.
I did not win any superlatives. I did come in third runner-up for most casual, which I don't know what casual in dress or in manner, but I didn't win it. I wanted it too much.
You really came in for third place for most casual?
Yes. That's all I got.
Well, look at you now. Hadley, you aren't in high school now. You're older than the character you played. What was it like to get back into that place? I feel like there must have been some nostalgia.
Yeah, of course. I was 24 when we shot the movie. And it was fun. It felt like a real high school experience. I think I wish that this had been my high school experience, though, where I really did start a revolution. I'd encourage it. But it was fun, and everybody on set was wonderful, and we all became instant friends, and it was great. It was a good time.
Well, we loved Moxie. We want to thank you guys for coming. I can't believe that you're 24.
I know.
thought you were, literally, I was like, I cannot believe that. I'm shocked. Right, Amy?
Incredible. I take it as a compliment. Thank you. I'm 26 now.
You're 26?
26.
Okay, now we've had enough of you.
Hadley is 6 feet tall. Hadley is 6 feet tall, but she's such a good actress, she can play shorter.
All right, guys.
Okay, well, this movie is so awesome, and Moxie is streaming now on Netflix.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Will coronavirus come back next year?
So to help make sense of it all, we've created a newscast just for them. Man, you know a lot. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today. Let's go. Is the Delta variant more dangerous to kids, or is it simply more transmissible?
Maryland's Principal of the Year. I served an amazing group of staff and students.
Controversy in Southlake tonight after teens posted a racist video.
It was a wealthy, idyllic town forced to confront racism.
My children were told Rosa Parks is dead. You all have to sit in the back of the bus.
But when the school board presented its plan, this small town fight ignited a national firestorm.
Critical race theory. Racism in reverse.
False narrative of rampant racism.
Shame.
This is Southlake, an NBC News podcast. All episodes available now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today. Let's go. Is the Delta variant more dangerous to kids, or is it simply more transmissible?
Maryland's Principal of the Year. I served an amazing group of staff and students.
Hoda and I were talking in the break about our most likelies in high school. And
our superlatives. So, Jenna, what were you?
I was most likely to trip across the stage at graduation, and that was just because I was a klutz. But then later, people like to use it to make it sound like
she was a booze bag.
I liked the booze.
You know,
and
you show them.
Yeah, you
I
showed
showed them I do not like the booze.
And Amy, I was jolliest jock, and that was not for skinny girls, okay? Hadley, we want to ask you, but we're afraid you were most popular.
Or most beautiful.
Which
one was yours?
I am flattered, but actually mine is embarrassing. It was most likely to start a cult, which I mean, Moxie is reflective of that in some way, but yeah, it's very embarrassing.
Yeah, wow.
All right.
David Koresh,
Yeah, all right. Okay, that went too far. Okay, so anyway, we're going to just play a quick game with you guys. Okay, the movie's filled with rebellious teens, so we want to hear in your teenage years if you've ever done the following. Okay.
Did you ever dye your hair or get a piercing without your parents' permission?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Nose piercing.
Nose piercing. Go Hadley.
Yeah. I called my mom and I told her about it, and she was like, "You're taking that out right now," and I took it out.
And you did. Still a good girl.
Amy, any piercings?
My answers are going to be so boring because my mom was a high school teacher at my high school, so I didn't do anything. So the answer is no. I never did that.
Okay, but you did. Okay, here's one. Snuck out past your curfew, Amy. Yeah.
I sure did. But, you know, I grew up in the 70s and 80s, so we didn't even have curfew. Like, your parents would just leave for the weekend, and then you'd be on your own. You raised yourself.
I like those days back when there were no tiger parents. It was a lot of fun.
I know. They're like, take the key. See you later.
Go. Okay, what about tattoos?
Hadley?
Hadley tattoo? Hadley.
I won't tell you what it is or where it is, but yes, that happened.
Well, do you regret it? Do you wish you could get it removed, or you're still into it?
No, I love it.
Okay.
Oh, well, there's more there. Okay. Well, guys, we want you to catch Moxie. It is streaming on.
Chassie, good morning.
Good morning.
Always so happy and bright. And we're starting with the blazer because this is a twist on the traditional blazer to help you get back into sort of a new normal with sweats.
Absolutely. And a great classic blazer is one of my favorite fashion hacks. You can pair it with absolutely anything in your wardrobe, and it's an instant outfit maker. And guys, this blazer is really, really good. It is the #1 bestseller on Amazon, and here's why shoppers are obsessed with it. First of all, it's got this beautiful tailoring, but it's not too tight and so flattering. Like, it nips in at the waist. It's cut longer, which gives you a little bit more hip coverage. It's got high quality details like lining, and it's got, you know, a little shoulder pad, but it's comfy. The fabric has some give in it. So I just love it. And it comes in all the hot fall it colors, like the bright red and the fuchsias that we are hearing so much about. And of course, the navy and the neutrals. And so affordable.
Chastity, you know, I am somebody who loves the athleisure look. I hope it never leaves. Love living in the sweats.
Learning a lot.
Yeah, but you're saying there's now a new way to kind of elevate your look so you don't look too sloppy?
Oh my gosh, talk about elevation. Yes, no one wants to give up on comfy, but look at this little sweat set.
You're gonna look great in that, Tom.
Right, you're
I love blue.
fabulous, Tom. And what's so great about it is it comes in a set of 2, and each piece has elevated details. Like the little top has the balloon sleeve. It's got the little jogger pants silhouette, but here's the magic. You see there, when you pair them together, it actually looks like a jumpsuit. So it doesn't even look like you're wearing sweats, but you actually technically are. And it comes in so many great colors. And guys, both pieces under $25.
Wow.
So
That's
great.
So you can get a bunch of different colors.
Sold.
That'll be fantastic.
I like the tie-dye for you.
Hey, so we're getting ready to head back to work. Want to bring in something for lunch. What do you got for us?
Well, have you guys ever seen a more fashion-forward lunchbox?
I know.
I have not.
It's like a mini bowling bag.
Yes, which is one of those really big on-trend, like high-end designer looks. And I love the little top handles. And it's insulated. So the company says it keeps things hot and cold for up to 4 hours. And I've got to say, this is a real upgrade from a paper bag or my son's superhero lunchbox which I brought to the office a time or two. And it's got really, really sophisticated and fun patterns.
Yeah, the prints are beautiful.
You know, aren't they really fun?
Yeah,
so
cool.
27,000 ratings, guys. So people love this.
A lot of ratings.
Not giving up my A-team lunchbox.
With the thermos that matches.
Exactly.
Let's talk about the 80s and 90s trend, the curlers you put in your hair the night before. I see you've got a whole bag of them.
Yes. Did you guys use these? I was so intrigued by this new heatless curling and styling trend. And I mean, I am not alone. 30,000 ratings on these. They're so popular. And what they are is they're these little foam curling tubes. And you just take damp hair, you roll it up, and you close it, and you let your curls air dry. You know what you can do with all that time that you're not spending, you know, with the hot tools? You can watch some television. You can do the dishes. So it really does give you back some time. And this was a lot of fun trying these out.
They
and
work.
Again,
I've used those and
yes,
they work.
right?
Yeah. We only have a little bit of time, so do you want to just go through the last 2 items?
Yes. So next up, we have an incredible sort of game-changing dry shampoo. It's from Moroccan Oil. And what's great about it is it comes in 2 different tones. Dark for dark hair and light hair, which is great because, you know, sometimes dry shampoos deposit that sort of chalky substance.
Right.
So now this is created to try to help solve that problem. And it's from Moroccan Oil, which is a brand people love. It's infused with argan oil. Yeah. Doesn't it? And last but not least, we have a little energy drink for, it's these eye masks that are like a little energy drink for your under eye area. They're called the 24 karat gold eye mask. And listen to what they do. They actually help to depuff your eyes. They help reduce fine lines and wrinkles. They help cool and soothe. And guess what, guys? There's actually a little bit of gold in these, the company says. So they look luxurious.
And I was going to tell Chastity, the guys can use these too. They're great in the mornings. Well, you're our golden girl, so Thank you for all the picks. And for more, you can see these products. Head to today.com/shop. Thanks, Chassie. And we want to remind you that Amazon has an affiliate relationship with Today. Whenever you buy an Amazon product through our site, Amazon pays Today a small commission on that sale. You'll like those. They
they look good.
Get those. I feel like I need those right now.
Hey everybody, it's Hoda Kotb from the Today Show. I am so excited to tell you about my new podcast, Making Space with Hoda Kotb. I sit down with some incredible people and we'll hear some uplifting stories.
Listen to Making Space now on Apple Podcasts.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts. Does the White House think they have an Afghanistan problem or a COVID problem? Do you believe the abortion issue should reflect the will of the people or the will of the elected officials? The vaccine mandate. Is this going to work or is this going to backfire? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Make the most of your day with
Today in 30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show in a mere 30 minutes.
Savannah and Hoda bring you what you must know. The biggest moments of the morning.
One Republic!
Exclusive interviews.
Why did it work for you?
You're right. I am more talented than the rest.
And important headlines.
Major medical news this morning.
Watch Today in 30 on your schedule. Streaming every day on Today All Day.
Does the White House think they have an Afghanistan problem or a COVID problem? Do you believe the abortion issue should reflect the will of the people or the will of the elected officials? The vaccine mandate. Is this going to work or is this going to backfire? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey, Jill, we've all gotten used to wearing very comfortable clothes around the clock, but it is going to be hard for a lot of us to say goodbye to sweats, T-shirts when the time comes, I think fair to say.
Well, the good news is I am not asking you to say goodbye to your
Thank
sweats.
God.
I'm just going to show you how to make sweats sexy. It is possible. Our producer Phoebe came over and we did a little tutorial. Take a look.
These are so fun. I want to
nice
do all of that.
We could definitely wear a lot of that.
I was going to say, I've done the sweats, but not the leggings. Jill,
but your wives can relate.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I know.
what were you going to say?
True. No, I was going to say, I know you have more great products to help us get started, so take it away.
I mean, as we get into this new normal, I want to stay comfortable. I'm an overall. So let's go on with our bad selves and just accessorize a little bit and take our sweats and overalls and groove them up a little bit. All right, so let's start with the silicone watch bands for Apple Watch from Olivia Pratt. This will give any outfit a pop and help you just switch up your accessories. The retail $29.99 to $39.99. This watch band is a great way to add some fun to your Apple Watch, available in an assortment of colors and prints, from tie-dye, which we told you yesterday, super on trend, to fun florals, to solids, in every color of the rainbow. The watch bands have multiple holes, so they fit almost any wrist and fit most Apple Watch faces. The retail $29.99 to $39.99. The deal $10.
Wow.
That's up to 75% off. That's a great one if you're going to someone's home to bring as a gift, because it packs flat and little and just an interesting gift. All right. This one I actually gave Dylan for her 40th birthday, a big D. The Juno initial necklace from Miriam Marenfeld Jewelry, the retail $120. The all-time best-selling necklace is a perfect personalized gift for moms and friends. You remember the Carrie Bradshaw necklace. It's sort of been reinvented. You could put your kids' initials, your husband or your significant other, just a really fun way to layer, which is super on trend. The initial is handcrafted in sterling silver and held by a delicate gold-filled link chain. Subtle but personal touch to go with any outfit. The retail $120, the deal $36.
You should have waited for the deal, Jill.
I'm sure she got a deal.
You know me, I always get a deal.
Splurge.
I always find a QR code. Right, yeah, I always do it. All right,
This is great for any outfit. Hoops, super on trend, again, from the decades past. But now they've sort of reinvented them. The large inside-out simulated diamond Zoom session hoops by Rachel Glauber. The retail $176. Now, these are the perfect accessory if you're looking for something that could be dressed up or down. Come in 9 different colors, from your more classic silver and gold to ruby, rainbow, and sapphire. It's interesting because the stones are also on the inside, so there's a lot of interest when you get closer to them. Great way to add a little sparkle, which I love adding a little sparkle to any outfit. Retail $176, the deal $39, that's 78% off. And last up, all right, I want you to go into your beauty cabinets, everybody, and I want you to just get rid of all your old hairbands and scrunchies and brushes and that mess of a drawer, because this is an entire set that you could use. The soft crepe and marble 7-piece hair accessory set from Kitsch. Retail $72. It's a 7-piece hair accessory set, and it has it all. 2 best-selling claw clips, remember those? Hair coils, elastics, 2 different scrunchies that never went out of style for me, and a headband. Some items in this collection are eco-friendly, made from plant-based materials, or made from 100% recycled material like the marble, claw clip, or the elastics. The retail $72. The deal for this entire situation, $19. That's 74% off, and I have one of the scrunchies in now, so I am ready to go about my day. So thank you for coming into my home and joining me here, and I will send it back to you in the studio. And have a beautiful weekend, everybody.
You too, Jill.
Jill, have a great weekend. Thank you so much.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Controversy in South Lake tonight after teens posted a racist video.
It was a wealthy, idyllic town forced to confront racism.
My children were told Rosa Parks is dead. You all have to sit in the back of the bus.
But when the school board presented its plan, this small town fight ignited a national firestorm.
Critical race theory.
Racism in reverse. False narrative of rampant racism.
This is South Lake, an NBC News podcast. All episodes available now. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Hey everybody, it's Hoda Kotb from the Today Show. I am so excited to tell you about my new podcast, Making Space with Hoda Kotb. I sit down with some incredible people and we'll hear some uplifting stories.
Listen to Making Space now on Apple Podcasts.
Still to come in the Channel 2 News. Well, the waters are certainly receding now. Still too close to call. Lester Holt reporting from Ground Zero, as it's being referred to. It is, in fact, the taste of freedom. The Haitian people know a little something about resiliency. What's the biggest risk right now? Some of the troops who have been proud. I want to welcome you to the first presidential debate. In fact, we've been told we can't go any farther. You were some resilient folks. Let me give you a hint.
It was a wealthy, idyllic town forced to confront racism. But when the school board presented its plan, it ignited a national firestorm.
Critical race theory.
Racism in reverse. False narrative. Shame.
This is South Lake. All episodes available now.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Let's go. Is the Delta variant more dangerous to kids, or is it simply more transmissible?
Maryland's Principal of the Year. I serve an amazing group of staff and students.
We want to help you cut your prep time in half so that you can be out of your door and on your way. And we're here to help us all is lifestyle and beauty expert Ami Desai. Hey, Ami.
Hello, ladies.
How are you?
By the way, if you guys want, oh, bless you. You do sneeze on TV.
It never happens, ever.
I know. Maybe you're allergic to this makeup. But anyway, if you want to shop with us, you can scan that QR code right there at the bottom of the screen.
All right, Ami. Take us through some of these skincare routines, because I think that's the trouble. We spend a lot of time dilly-dallying in front of the mirror.
Yes, exactly. And so what we're looking for are multi-purpose products. And what we're finding a lot of right now is skincare products with, beauty products with skincare benefits. And 2 things that I'm absolutely loving at the moment are for our face. So one of them, if you enjoy a more lightweight formula, is this one from Iris and Romeo. It's called Best Skin Days. It's a 5-in-1 formula, and it's going to act as a moisturizer, a collagen serum, protection against blue light, and it's also an inclusive range of colors. So if you're mid-tone to deeper skin tones, it works beautifully. If you want something more full coverage, there's this one from L'Oreal. It's an age perfecting serum, radiant serum right there. It has SPF 50 in it, and it also was made with mature skin in mind. So you are not going to find it settling in fine lines or wrinkles, and it also is budget friendly.
So you knocked
it's a
out
win-win.
a step. I like that. You knocked out a step.
So sunscreen is
Exactly.
sunscreen is super important. We've heard the benefits all over and over again. Talk to us about this one.
Okay, you can never have enough sunscreen, and I honestly think we don't apply enough of it. So this glow stick from Supergoop is fantastic because it is not only travel friendly, as you can see, it's a roll-on. You're not going to have to worry about any liquid mess. But one thing you can do is you can also apply it over makeup. As you see I'm doing here, it's not going to interfere with it. So it's a great way to reapply our sunscreen throughout the day. It also acts as a beautiful highlight. You can see it just gives like this dewy appearance. I'm actually wearing it right now. Almost everything I'm talking about, I'm wearing right now. It sits beautifully on there, and there's no excuse then to reapply your sunscreen every 2 to 3 hours.
I was going to say it could also help us put it on kids quickly.
Now we like things that work for lips and cheeks and all kinds of things, and you've got something.
Multi-stick.
Oh my gosh, so these are stick makeups. I absolutely love these multi-purpose sticks. I have 2 right here. One is from Live Tinted. It's a small business, and you can see I'm applying this beautiful Kajal-inspired color. It's called Legacy, and you can use it not only to define your eyes, but look at that. I'm applying it on my hairline. I know, any sparse areas. And then this one is from Jouer. It's a beautiful blush and bloom stick. I'm applying it to the cheeks, my lips, my eyes. And then what I love about this too, you can use your fingers. No brushes required. And look at like the beautiful flush you can get from this. And also it makes your makeup bag so much more, less hefty.
Okay, awesome.
I know, that's quick. That's a great tool.
This one we're confused about. The clear mascara.
Okay. Oh my gosh, clear mascara. I mean, especially this one, Maybelline Great Lash. It is timeless. It's been around forever. And clear mascara, I love it not only to lengthen my lashes, but also if you have unruly brows, like I have unruly brows, you can use them to keep it in place. And then also pesky flyaways. You know, like sometimes especially me, I am still postpartum. I have all these like little baby hairs growing back. So it's a great way to just clean those.
Okay, can I ask, does it extend, what does it do for your eyelashes? It just coats them?
It coats them. It kind of gives it just like a really pretty gloss. So especially if you don't like the feel and the heaviness of mascara, it does such a nice job with that.
Okay, I like a dry shampoo because it can help us keep our showering down to a couple days a week.
Exactly. Well, not our showering, but yeah, our hair, right?
I honestly, washing.
I do not wash my hair. I wash it maybe once a week. Okay, so this is one of my favorites from Virtue Labs, and here's why I really like it. Actually, you can put it on the night before, and then you wake up in the morning and brush it out to fuller hair. It's beautiful.
That's a
also,
great
what I'm doing
idea.
here, I know it cuts the getting ready time in half. So what I'm doing here is I'm using it for my brows to make them fuller, and then also if you have fine hair, spray a little bit onto your bobby pin or your pins, and you can apply it. It's going to hold that hairstyle the entire day.
It's kind of like a hairspray, but not so
exactly. Without that grit.
Take us into the shower. These shower gels.
Okay. In shower body lotion. So something that I do, I always skip if I'm running out of time, is putting on moisturizer. And this Olay product is fantastic because you put it on, it's going to hydrate your skin. It's the last step you want to do in your shower, and it's going to keep your skin hydrated throughout the entire day. So you do not need to put on lotion if you don't have time to. It works fantastic.
That's a great idea. I put bio oil. Now let's talk about nails. Do we still do these Lee press-ons? I know this isn't Lee.
Ladies, the last year or so, press-ons have absolutely made a comeback. I'm wearing them right now. These are from Kiss. They're acrylic nudes. They're beautiful. What I love about them is they take under 10 minutes to do, and they're under $10. I'm not kidding. And here's the beautiful thing is that you see how short mine are? These came like this. So they come in different lengths. They come in different styles. And for me, I need something that's really practical and easy to wear throughout the day, and they will last for about a week. So it's fantastic.
That's awesome.
Such great
Ami,
options.
thank you so much.
And for these products.
Of course, thank you.
Thank you. Head to today.com/shop.
For 30-year-old Sib Mahapatra, the co-founder of office startup furnishing company Branch, the beginning of 2020 was a bit of a roller coaster ride.
In the space of really 2 weeks, we lost effectively 93% of our revenue as offices began to close, as the deals we had began to back out.
So Sib and his team pivoted. Branch, which launched in January of 2019, shifted its focus from large corporations to individual consumers, transforming their operations to serve those working from home.
There are all these people that are working at home probably for the first time ever. They may not have a workspace that supports them. We basically had to reinvent, in varying degrees, almost every part of the business. Everything from the marketing through the fulfillment. The average order amount pre-pandemic was about $35,000. Today, it's about $300. As the amount of each order has shrunk, the number of orders has gone way up. We're now serving tens of thousands of customers, whereas in the past we served hundreds of customers.
Branch has seen success in this new model and plans to keep it around long term.
Since November, we've actually been doing more revenue than we ever did. Now we have 2 business lines where we can serve customers both at home and in the office. I think it is one of those events where going through it was hard and challenging, but in the end, it really does make you a stronger business and a stronger team.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Hey everybody, it's Hoda Kotb from The Today Show. I am so excited to tell you about my new podcast, Making Space with Hoda Kotb. I sit down with some incredible people and we'll hear some uplifting stories.
Listen to Making Space now on Apple Podcasts.
Make the most of your day with
Today in 30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show in a mere 30 minutes.
Savannah and Hoda bring you what you must know. The biggest moments of the morning.
One Republic!
Exclusive interviews.
Why did it work for you?
You're right. I am more talented than the rest.
And important headlines.
Major medical news this morning.
Watch Today in 30 on your schedule. Streaming every day on Today All Day.
News is more than a headline. It informs, it inspires, and it still matters. To cover it, you have to be in it. And that's what we're gonna do. Every night, we take you to the front lines of the story, where it's actually happening, with NBC News journalists on the ground from all over the world. We cover what you need to know and bring your newsfeed to life. In primetime and streaming live, it's your news playlist every night.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
All right, between FaceTiming, taking online classes, making Zoom calls for work, many of us are living life in a box from here up.
So our gadget guy, Steve Greenberg, found some gear to help you get better connected and look your best. Hi, Steve.
Hi, Donna and Hoda. So great to be back with you. I've got some terrific gadgets to make the video conferencing and Zooming experience so much better. Now, right here on the table, this is called the gimbal, and it's a robotic camera stand. So as I move, it moves with me. Using facial recognition, you can set up your phone horizontally or vertically, and you can't fool it. It really does follow you. Very cool. Now, when it comes to video conferencing or Zooming, you really want to look your best, and lighting is critical. So that's what this is all about. This is called a ring light. It's from a company called Incisi. It's about 19 inches. And when I turn on the light, it makes a huge difference in how you look. You can then make it less light, more light. You can make it a yellow light, a white light. You really can get it to the way you think you look the best. And it has a little stand right here so you can hold your smartphone or your iPad or any tablet right in the center there like that for your video conferencing. But now the background really doesn't look too good. Here's a solution for that. This is from Julia Studios, and this is your own personal green screen, just like that. So now with the green screen behind you, you can use virtual backgrounds. You can be in Miami, or you can be in New York City, or you can be on a deserted beach. It's up to you. And really look good with a really cool background. And you don't have to clean up your house, which is another advantage. So this and this really help taking your video conferencing to the next level. Now, you can't do a good video conference call or a Zoom without good Wi-Fi. And if your router or modem in the living room and you do your work in the kitchen or up in the second bedroom, you're gonna need something like this. This is D-Link's DAP 1955 Wi-Fi range extender. You plug this in near the area where the signal is weak, and it boosts up the signal. This is a must-have. Now, if you're looking for a simpler video conferencing setup, check check this out. This is called Loom Cube right here, and it attaches to your PC, Mac, or your tablet. It suctions onto the back of it. And once it's there, you then can control the light, so you can make it brighter, you can make it less bright, more yellow, more white, and it really does add some extra fill so you look better in those calls. Next, this little table right here is called Table Tote. It's completely collapsible and adjustable. When you fold it up, it's about the size of a briefcase, and it'll fit in a briefcase. When it's set up, it's a workstation with an area for your smartphone, for a beverage, all in one place, and like I said, it folds up. This chair is called the ergonomic stool from Hammacher Schlemmer, and what it does is it moves while you work. So your core muscles are being exercised while you're working, which is really important. It's called active sitting. And if you want to do some aerobic exercise, check this out right over here. This is called Life Bike. You can put it under your table or desk, and while you're conferencing, you can actually get in a couple of miles biking, which is pretty cool. When you're not using it, it folds up flat, just like that, and it fits in that canvas bag. Hoda, Jenna, hope you learned some good video conferencing tips. Take care, stay safe.
All right, Steve, thank you so much. Check out these products. Head to today.com/shop.
This morning, we have an exclusive look at what could become the future of the office. NBC News technology correspondent Jake Ward has that story for us. This looks really cool, Jake.
Good morning, Craig. That's right. You know, some tech companies like Twitter will allow employees to work from home forever, while Facebook says it will bring 10% of its Bay Area workforce back next week. But we got an exclusive look inside Google, which just announced that 60% of its people will work from home and from the office. Now, they are building prototype environments like this one. It looks, you know, like camp, right? But it's actually an office. And now the question is, how do you satisfy everyone and keep them all connected no matter where or how they're working?
What will work look like after the pandemic? A Harvard Business School study found that 4 out of 5 employees do not want to go back to the office full-time. Now, businesses across the country are trying to figure out the post-pandemic workplace. Google says most employees will work from both home and an office. The company now has to invent something new.
And so what we're really looking to now is a third thing. So it's not just open office, it's not just enclosed office. It's actually a flexible hybrid between the two.
Michelle Kaufman's team created a new model. Google employees will get a menu of options rather than the same daily desk. The philosophy here is keep it light and ready to change, like making rooms quickly out of inexpensive building blocks.
So things like these panels that we call pixels,
Yeah.
they're like Lego pieces.
By Monday, you could have these set up to accommodate a whole new group.
Exactly.
They're building plumbing and electrical into the Lego pieces.
A kitchen remodel at home is months of work.
So this kitchen takes 2 people, 2 days to put together.
Nothing is off the table. Google's trying inflatable room dividers, even a campground concept for working outside in the summer. And Kaufman says none of this is permanent.
Did it work well for the remote participants? Did it work well for the people who are together physically?
One of the hardest problems, trying to keep remote workers from fading into the background.
Here, you can't ignore these people.
Exactly,
Right,
exactly.
right.
Where they all have the same level of presence in the room. The cameras are set up that even in their experience of joining remotely, they're able to also see everyone equally.
It takes a team of people.
I interviewed Javier Soltero this way.
You have to find a way to create the places, even if they're digital ones, where people can feel like they're present and are able to collaborate.
And if some of the best paid, most valuable employees in the world say that they don't want to come in, well, what do?
So you have this task of having to figure out a way to create other spaces, physical and virtual, where more of that interaction can take place, even the unstructured kind, so that you can capture as much of that sense of connection across people as possible.
If I own a small business and I'm looking to learn from what you've built here, what do you think I could do without the hundreds of millions at Google's disposal?
Hopefully those key concepts are actually scalable for every company.
No matter how much money they have, no matter how many people.
Exactly, exactly. Like some of these things are not about spending money. They're just about thinking about things differently and getting more out of less in a way that also actually benefits the people who are working there.
Now, Google says it will study what its workers reserve for themselves to sort out what's needed. Now, the early indications are that most workers need a place to focus and then a place to, move the walls out and hang out with other people. And so, with the economy rearranging itself so fast, thanks to the pandemic, you guys, the office of the future looks like it could be this endlessly changing mix of screens and tents and solar panels. You guys?
Wow. That is fascinating.
I like the idea, though, of going in at night and moving people's offices around.
You were back. And they show up the next day, they're like, oh, where'd that go?
Where's my square?
Jake Ward, that was a fantastic.
These are places we may not be able to visit for a while. Come with us as we take you there, into our incredible world.
Woo!
We are sailing the Mediterranean in search of lost civilizations to rediscover the great cities that vanished in the ancient past. Their legacy has lingered in our collective imagination for centuries, a reminder of our human frailty when faced with the awesome, destructive power of nature. And where better to begin than among the islands of Greece, where history and legend collide. You look like a Greek god.
Okay, I'm a Greek man. I don't know about the other.
Skipper Theo Marinos navigates us to our first port of call, the spectacular island of Santorini, or as the Greeks know it by its ancient name, Thera. With its white stucco houses teetering on the edge of sheer cliffs, to many, this is a bucket list vacation destination. A tourist paradise where the sea here is as warm as a jacuzzi.
Oh, that's great.
But the warm water is a reminder that Santorini is an active volcano. 3,500 years ago, a colossal volcanic eruption ripped out the heart of this island. Everywhere you can see evidence of this awesome destruction. Ancient ash. A pumice mantle, over 100 foot thick, blankets the entire island. A great city buried beneath. Streets, 3-story houses, beautiful wall paintings preserved. But the people who lived here, obliterated. These were the Minoans, an advanced race who ruled the seas. And this island was an important outpost of their vast maritime kingdom.
Now in this island of Atlantis, there was a great and wonderful empire.
And many now believe the inspiration for the legend of Atlantis, first written about by the philosopher Plato.
There were earthquakes and floods of extraordinary violence. And in a single dreadful day and night, the island of Atlantis was swallowed up by the sea and vanished.
Some experts say that Plato's Atlantis was located in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, but others believe that the inspiration was the destruction of Santorini.
Atlantis civilization exists here in Santorini.
Our skipper certainly thinks so.
Plato described a circle island with a volcano in the center, destroyed in one single night. That happened to Santorini.
And scientists here have recently discovered that the eruption from this supervolcano was even more destructive than previously thought.
In terms of the consequences of the eruption, it is likely the worst explosion mankind has ever known.
But the destruction didn't end there, says Kostas Sarnalakis, one of the world's foremost experts on tsunamis.
The initial wave is about 300 feet high.
Following in the wake of that colossal wave, we sail 90 miles south to the island of Crete, legendary birthplace of Zeus, and the heart of the Minoan Empire. Archaeologist Dr. Sandy McIlvray has spent more than 30 years investigating what happened to the Minoan civilization here.
The sea comes up over all these buildings, knocking all these buildings down,
goes as far as that yellow field that you see up there at the end of the olive trees.
Way back there.
Way back there.
This was one of its major towns.
This was Main Street, separating these huge town blocks that were on either side. The whole town is completely wiped out. 25,000 people.
Down at the water's edge, you can find spectacular evidence of the tsunami's destruction.
There's some bone, wall plaster, more pottery, basically churned up households. These are fragments of an amphora, like a big two-handled jar. Okay, there's the base of a cup. See that round base? Goes like that. Sides come up here. Put a handle on there.
Wow. So someone might have been drinking from that as the wave came in.
Yeah.
As they came to the end of their life.
Entirely possible.
Isn't it amazing to just find this stuff here like this? I just can't believe that I'm holding maybe pieces of Atlantis in my hand.
Like the people described in Plato's Atlantis, the Minoans were advanced, and their palaces, like here in the ruined Minoan capital, Knossos, were magnificent.
This was like the Washington, D.C. of its era, a center of power and civilization.
They're the first culture in Europe that has running water coming down into their buildings. One of the things that we get from Minoan art, you see that men and women are equal. If anything, the women were more powerful. They just have this almost miraculous civilization.
Miraculous, yes, but Atlantis?
I really suspect that the Minoan civilization and Santorini is where Atlantis is.
Amazingly, and despite the similarities to Atlantis, Dr. McIlvray is not so sure.
Where is Atlantis?
If it's not here, go west through the Pillars of Hercules into the Atlantic Ocean.
He believes that when Plato wrote that Atlantis was beyond the Pillars of Hercules, he meant outside the Mediterranean.
You think it's in the Atlantic?
Well, I mean, I read Plato as an undergraduate. I did classics and developed a fairly high opinion, and I really don't think it's fiction.
So, was Plato's inspiration the destruction of Santorini? Or is it just a story? Or perhaps, just perhaps, is there a lost Atlantis somewhere beneath the ocean? Next, we travel west, across the Mediterranean, to another lost city. It too was destroyed by a volcano, but this place is definitely not a legend. Pompeii.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you feel like the bad guy in this? Why should they believe you when they know that people are getting in? Has it been worth it to make this trip? Do you feel like you're giving a green light to politicians? How do you explain why your case has become so important?
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Will coronavirus come back next year?
So to help make sense of it all, we've created a newscast just for them. Man, you know a lot. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
News is more than a headline. It informs, it inspires, and it still matters. To cover it, you have to be in it. And that's what we're gonna do. Every night, we take you to the front lines of the story, where it's actually happening, with NBC News journalists on the ground from all over the world. We cover what you need to know and bring your newsfeed to life. In primetime and streaming live, it's your news playlist every night.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your newsfeed to life. Streaming live every night, it's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Way back into history, over thousands of years, all over the Mediterranean, great civilizations have risen and fallen. Some were known to historians, but others were lost to time. Troy in Turkey, like Atlantis, was thought to be a fiction until an archaeologist who believed the story was based on fact began excavating this hill and found it. When a Swiss explorer disguised as an Arab traveller entered this canyon, he rediscovered the secret hidden city of Petra.
One of the most exciting finds ever.
As recently as 20 years ago, divers off the coast of Egypt found the ruins of an Egyptian city that had been swallowed by the sea. And these incredible structures on the islands of Malta are more than 5,500 years old, more ancient than Stonehenge and the pyramids. But the most celebrated of all lost cities lies on the west coast of Italy, in the shadow of the volcano Vesuvius. At 12 noon, disaster struck. A massive explosion of molten rock flying into the air like a pine tree, one witness said. The volcano ejecting thousands of tons of material per second. It fell here upon the horrified people of Pompeii. Pumice and burning ash raining down on this city. It must have seemed like the end of the world. Pompeii and its sister city, Herculaneum, were utterly destroyed. Their people buried beneath an avalanche of ash.
Everything was covered with this ash.
2,000 years later, Chief Archaeologist Massimo Asana and his team are digging out this vast and previously unexplored section of Pompeii. Archaeology used to be about patience and painstaking digging by hand. It still is, but now scientists are also using 21st century technology to solve Pompeii's first century secrets.
We are in the era of digitalization, laser scanning, 3D reconstruction, and of course also drone.
Questa è l'area del giardino.
The excavated city offers a fascinating glimpse into the Roman world.
We are rediscovering houses so well preserved.
A snapshot of life 2,000 years ago.
Incredible way to touch the past and the daily life of the Pompeian in the 1st century AD.
To the basics of life.
It's a bread.
Bread? Ah, this is someone's thumbprint.
Yes, this one.
And even graffiti.
It's a campaign sign for the local lawmaker.
All the time, they're discovering more. Here, writing with a date, October 17th. Important because it indicates that the eruption happened 2 months later than has always been thought. Just one day before that eruption, Pompeii was a thriving vacation resort for the Romans. There was an amphitheatre for gladiatorial combat, and street after street of grand houses with beautiful gardens. Inside these palatial homes, the walls are covered with brightly coloured paintings, depicting a luxurious existence of leisure and pleasure.
What a life these folks had.
But for many, a terrible death. Thousands fled in panic, waiting to be rescued from the beaches by the fleet of galleys under the command of the great Roman admiral, Pliny. Others were not so lucky, suffocated by burning gas, then buried in a deadly rain of falling ash. This famous figure is crouching, as if in prayer, certainly in terror, and we're only now truly learning of the horrors they were going through. Back at the excavation, the professor and his team are uncovering more bodies, and using the latest techniques, are beginning to find out more about who these people were. Like this man, buried beneath a massive block of masonry.
He tried to escape with a few coins, not really a huge amount of money, so we understand the status of this person. Now, for the skeleton, we started also the DNA analysis, and we will know everything about his biography.
And these 2 victims of the volcano are believed to be a master and his slave. The team has even found the bodies of petrified horses. And this skull, found on the shore near Pompeii, is now being examined in another lab. With more CSI, could it be, as many experts think, the skull of Pliny, the very man in charge of the Roman fleet who died while trying to rescue the survivors from the disaster zone? We should, soon, have the answer. And perhaps also the answer to Pompeii's greatest mystery. Because although more than 1,000 bodies have now been recovered here, what happened to everyone else?
The population of ancient Pompeii was 30,000.
30,000 people.
Inside the town.
But they are out there, somewhere, says Professor Osano, hidden beneath the ash. And maybe, tantalizingly, there are other cities, other great civilizations, perhaps buried beneath the desert sand, or submerged beneath the sea, forgotten by history, but just waiting to be found.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Let's go! Is the Delta variant more dangerous to kids, or is it simply more transmissible?
Maryland's Principal of the Year.
I serve an amazing group of staff and students.
Make the most of your day with
Today in 30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show in a mere 30 minutes.
Savannah and Hoda bring you what you must know. The biggest moments of the morning.
One Republic!
Exclusive interviews.
Why did it work for you?
You're right. I am more talented than the rest.
And important headlines.
Major medical news this morning.
Watch Today in 30 on your schedule. Streaming every day on Today All Day.
Still to come on the Channel 2 News. Well, the waters are certainly receding now.
Still too close to call. Lester Holt reporting from
Ground Zero, as it's being referred to.
It is, in fact, a taste of freedom. The Haitian people know a little something about resiliency. What's the biggest risk right now? Some of the troops who have been proud. I want to welcome you to the first presidential debate. In fact, we've been told we can't go any farther. You with some resilient folks. Let me get a hint.
Make the most of your day with Today All Day. Get closer to all your friends at Today in a whole new way.
Today in 30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show in a mere 30 minutes.
Shop today with Joe Martin.
We're helping you shop like never before.
The latest styles and biggest names. Today Food.
Things are heating up in the Today All Day kitchen.
Cooking essentials and recipe inspiration.
Get ready. Are you ready? Oh, I'm so ready.
Only on Today All Day. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
These are places we may not be able to visit for a while. Come with us as we take you there, into our incredible world. Woo! Ah, Italy. Where to begin in this land of Romance, Renaissance, and romance? How about the place where quarantine was invented 600 years ago? If you're going to lock down, where better than in the most beautiful city in the world, Venice. A labyrinth of winding canals, famed for its glorious art and architecture. The birthplace of a billion romances. Casanova once lived here. George Clooney got married here. And so did American Marie Ohanessian, who met her gondolier husband Roberto in Venice.
I'll give you a year, 1985, and got married 2 years later. I was here on vacation.
30 years of marriage, my friend.
Yeah, it'll be 31.
31, yes. How's it going?
I'm a lucky guy, huh?
There is a famous Venetian tradition that says, if you kiss while passing under a bridge, you and your lover remain in love forever. In recent years, Venice discovered that its beauty can be a double-edged sword. The people who truly love it, lost in a sea of selfie-taking tourists.
We all got the selfie, we can leave now, but you don't even realize where you are. So Venice needs to be understood and needs to be savored.
You live in history.
Francesco da Mosta, whose family has lived in this Venetian house for generations, agrees.
Venice doesn't need so much tourism. So much tourism is destroying Venice. When you lose the soul of a place, then it's lost.
Then, for almost every one of us, everything changed. In Venice, it meant overnight the visitors vanished. As the world turned upside down, the pollution here disappeared. The water never looked clearer. More than ever, you could see why the Italians call this city on the sea La Serenissima, the most serene. Amazing, really, when you think that this was once a bustling metropolis, the trading center of the world. And by truly exploring this enchanted city, you can find that history around every corner. The family that lived here at the Palazzo Pisani were modern-day billionaires, merchants of Venice.
Hello.
Now it's cared for by Giovanni Gio.
I can't believe this was someone's home.
Of course it was, absolutely. It's been a home of the Pisani family for over 4 centuries.
Imagine the history this home has seen, the highs and lows, and survived it all. Just about.
200 rooms and 400 windows. I know that because we have to fix it every year.
That's a lot of windows to repair.
Within the walls of the palazzo, there's a trail of secrets.
There are Masonic symbols everywhere.
There are many secret passages everywhere. This palazzo is full of a hidden staircase which goes up and down. This way, it takes exactly to the Mason temple. This is the Sala d'Oro, the golden room, and once it was totally covered with gold. As you can see on the wall, there's a little trace of the gold.
Wow, and on the ceiling.
And on the ceiling, of course, yes.
The family fortune lost in gambling debts. This building is now a music center. For this grand house, just another chapter in its long history. Perhaps that's the story of Venice. It has endured. Like its grandest gondolas, these elaborately detailed boats, hidden away for most of the year, they are relics of the past. But in Venice, gondolas are still transporting people around this floating citadel, as they have done for 1,000 years. And maybe there's something about that history that might help us in these times of trouble. Across the country, another spot famous for its history, Florence. Back when travel was so easy, we took time to take in its domed cathedral, walk its cobbled streets, and cross its enchanting bridges. A place for meditation, and as any Tuscan will tell you, a place to have fun.
Hey, kid.
Hey!
How's it going, buddy?
Claudio.
Welcome to Florence.
Buonasera.
My friend and colleague Claudio, who's as Italian as Armani, introduced me to the local cocktails.
What are we going to drink?
We're going to have an Aperol, a spritz, which is half Prosecco, which is Italian champagne. And then you can put 2 things in it, either Aperol or Campari.
A little taste test.
Yes.
Okay.
Salute.
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 Remember when you could share drinks without disinfecting the glass?
I feel like we should hold hands.
No.
Within Florence's medieval walls lived many celebrated characters of the Renaissance.
Who has walked on these streets? Michelangelo.
Galileo. Da Vinci. And now us. What a fall from grace.
Let's get back to some historic drinking.
Why not? This is a 17th century statue of a wild boar.
Yeah.
And if you touch the nose,
yes,
it will bring you good luck.
Okay.
I'll give you a coin. Put the coin in the mouth.
Okay.
Let it drop. No luck.
What
because
happened?
it needs to go through the grate.
Oh, yes! Yes! Yeah, I love it.
avere
più
ghiaccio.
ghiaccio.
Can I have more ice in my drink?
That's it.
We should eat something, right?
Yeah. Florence's answer to the hot dog. This is for you.
Is that for me? All right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Oh, you're eating it too? Well, that's
of course.
reassuring.
You know, have a go.
Okay.
So, what is it?
What is it?
It's meat. This is called lampredotto.
Lampredotto, okay.
It's the lining of a cow's stomach. It's kind of tripe, but worse.
That's what I just ate. I need to drink to forget.
This is called a Negroni.
Okay.
Very famous in Italy. It was invented in Florence.
Yes.
It's called a Negroni because it was invented by a count called Camillo Negroni.
Yes.
How does it taste?
It's pretty good. I like it. I like it.
I'm proud of you.
I'm proud of you. I love you. You're the best.
No, you're the best.
After all that excitement, it's time to slow down. In Italy, that means heading south.
Make the most of your day with
Today in 30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show in a mere 30 minutes.
Watch Today in 30 on your schedule, streaming every day on Today All Day.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Let's go. Is the Delta variant more dangerous to kids, or is it simply more transmissible?
Maryland's Principal of the Year.
I served an amazing group of staff and students.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Will coronavirus come back next year?
So to help make sense of it all, we've created a newscast just for them. Man, you know a lot. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
Does the White House think they have an Afghanistan problem or a COVID problem? Do you believe the abortion issue should reflect the will of the people or the will of the elected officials? The vaccine mandate, is this going to work or is this going to backfire? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
In the region of Campania, high on a hilltop, is this picturesque Italian town of old houses and narrow streets. Very narrow streets. We've travelled to sun-bleached southern Italy, where the pace of life is slower. In this typical Italian town, the locals are, well...
Buongiorno.
Hi, how are you? Buongiorno, buonasera.
Wait, you're not Italian.
No, I'm not Italian.
Just like you.
Ciao. Where are you from?
From New York City.
I'm from Los Angeles, California.
We're from Santa Barbara.
Please, will someone explain?
Ciao.
Hi, Carlo.
Yes.
Carlo from California has emigrated to Guardia San Framondi, a town founded before Columbus found America.
We're kind of right in the middle of the whole Italy thing.
The Italy thing.
The Italy thing.
What do you love about the Italy thing?
It's kind of like I've been dropped in an alternative universe where people are still really nice to each other.
Ciao. Ciao.
This old-fashioned place where folks say hello, or ciao, was slowly consigned to the past. But now more than 100 Americans and others have bought property in Guardia.
Kind of a little America.
Piccolo Americano, they call it.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Glenn is still refurbishing, but plans to keep some of the old features.
Love the old life, yeah.
His house, once home to a wealthy Italian contessa.
This was the Contessa's bedroom.
Romeo, Romeo, wherefore art thou, Romeo? Admittedly, you can get a little carried away.
You don't have to be Shakespearean aristocracy to live here, says restoration expert Benny Adamo. For $15,000, you can have this view. Or if you have a spare $170,000, this 18th century palazzo is yours.
Frescoes.
Yeah, frescoes.
Look at that. Okay, it's a bit of a doer-upper.
Look,
Is the bed included?
yeah, the bed is included. You can take whatever you want.
When you buy these houses, you buy a piece of their history too. Rooms untouched.
1784.
A journal written before George Washington became president.
Incredible.
This is what life is about, and what so much of Italy is about, with its rich history. One day, our lives will be history too, but the magic of Italy, its culture, its beauty, and the way it just makes your heart sing, will always be with us.
Hey gang, welcome to Today All Day. The next 30 minutes you'll be hanging with me, and I have some of my favorite original videos just for you, full of inspiration and hope. So take a seat, get a tissue, come along for the ride as we hear words of wisdom from some of my favorite people.
I think people get caught up in, it's not happening fast enough, or I'm not getting where I need to be. It's just as long as you're on your horse, however unsteadily, if you're going somewhere, then you're doing something.
This is one of my favorite things to do, to find out what my favorite people, what their favorite quote is. John Stamos is with us on Quoted By. And John, do you have a quote that's kind of your North Star?
Well, I love this Thomas Wolfe quote. Do you have it on there?
I have it. What was important, perhaps, was not that the beggar was drunk and reeling, but that he was mounted on his horse and, however unsteadily, was going somewhere. Why does that speak to you?
Well, I mean, I think, look, just the idea of going forward is so important, and growing and moving forward. I think people get caught up in, it's not happening fast enough, or I'm not getting where I need to be. It's just as long as you're on your horse, however unsteadily, if you're going somewhere, then you're doing something, right?
Yes, and how long did it take you to come to that realization? Because, I mean, I bet you when you were younger, you were always, like, wondering what's taking so long.
I still do it at times, and you just gotta go, look, it's about the journey, but at least I'm moving forward. If it's an inch today, that's great. If it's a mile today, that's also great. But it's sort of, I just have this image of this beggar who's like just, drunk and reeling, but he's on his horse and he's mounted and he's going somewhere, versus just sitting around and not doing anything because of fear. A lot of people are so afraid to move forward because, the reasons we just said, like they can't get there fast enough, or it's not working, or it's not moving. Get on your horse, people.
All right, that's a beautiful Thomas Wolfe quote. All right, John, thank you so much. People want to be where you are in their careers, and they wonder, like, is this charmed? Yeah. Do things just work for her, or has it been a series of bumps?
Oh, it's been a series of bumps, as you know, in this industry, and an industry that we both love, but it's not rainbows and unicorns all the time.
Okay, raise your hand if you love Kristen Chenoweth. Me! It's my Quoted By series, and I'm so curious because I feel like you're driven by all things that are goodness, Kristen. And I just wondered, is there a quote of yours that is kind of your North Star?
Yes. It's changed over the years, but I've stared at it for a year and a half as I have it in a little frame. And it's by Elizabeth Edwards, the former wife of John Edwards, the senator, oddly enough. But this is what she says. She stood in the storm, and when the wind did not blow her way, she adjusted her sails. And I thought, that's what we have to do in life. And of all women to say that, of course, she went through a lot of stuff, I think. But even in the good times, you still got to adjust your sails.
Because sometimes you feel like it may end up hitting a dead end for you if you don't do that. Yeah. So has that been how you feel like, because people want to be where you are in their careers, and they wonder, like, is this charmed? Yeah. Do things just work for her, or has it been a series of bumps?
Oh, it's been a series of bumps, as you know, in this industry, and an industry that we both love, but it's not rainbows and unicorns all the time. I have had to sing during funerals, births, deaths. Dolly Parton talks a lot about in her music about, she has a song called Sacrifice, about the sacrifices we make. Usually people say, what are you doing for the holidays? I'm like, well, that's the main time I work. Now, this is a chosen thing. I love it. But the audience doesn't need to know that my uncle just died or so-and-so is sick or whatever. They want to see a show. And you adjust your sails. I don't know why that, I do know why. It just stuck with me every day for a year and a half. That has been staring at me in the face. That quote.
By the way, brilliant. I think that'll turn out to be a lot of people's North Star. Thank you, Kristen.
Thank you.
Still to come on the Channel 2 News. Well, the waters are certainly receding now.
Still too close to call. Lester Holt reporting from
Ground Zero, as it's being referred to.
It is, in fact, a taste of freedom. The Haitian people know a little something about resiliency. What's the biggest risk right now? Some of the troops who have been proud. I want to welcome you to the first presidential debate. In fact, we've been told we can't go any farther. You with some resilient folks, let me get in.
Make the most of your day with
Today in 30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show in a mere 30 minutes.
Savannah and Hoda bring you what you must know. The biggest moments of the morning.
One Republic!
Exclusive interviews.
Why did it work for you?
You're right. I am more talented than the rest.
And important headlines.
Major medical news this morning.
Watch Today in 30 on your schedule. Streaming every day on Today All Day.
It was a wealthy, idyllic town forced to confront racism, but when the school board presented its plan, it ignited a national firestorm.
Critical race theory.
Racism, it refers false narrative. Shame.
This is Southlake. All episodes available now.
Hey everybody, it's Hoda Kotb from The Today Show. I am so excited to tell you about my new podcast, Making Space with Hoda Kotb. I sit down with some incredible people and we'll hear some uplifting stories.
Listen to Making Space now on Apple Podcasts.
I started seeing how I was doubting myself in everything and second guessing myself in everything. And that's me jumping in my own way instead of trusting everything that I am. Oh, that was, gave myself the chills.
All right, this is one of my favorite segments. It's called Quoted By, and I'm with one of my favorite people who I find incredibly inspiring. If you know anything about Mary J. Blige's life, you know about overcoming, you know about persevering, and you also know about just finding out who you are. So I am so happy to be sitting here with you because I just am. And I just wondered, do you have like a guiding light, Mary J., a quote that speaks to you?
Yes, it's a quote that was given to me by one of my favorite artists when I first met her, it's Chaka Khan, and she told me that I needed to get out of my own way. And I think she was speaking vocally as well. She said, once you learn how to do that, you're going to be able to do anything. And later on in life, it didn't really click what she was saying until I started seeing how I was doubting myself in everything and second guessing myself in everything. And that's me jumping in my own way instead of trusting everything that I am. Oh, that was, gave myself the chills. Trusting everything that I am, because everything I am is what I am, and I can only give you me. So if I gotta stop doubting me, I can only give you the greatness of me.
Do you ever think, like, one thing I think people struggle with too is, I read a quote, I loved it. It says, you're the sum total of the 5 people you spend the most time with, so choose wisely.
Yes.
Did you have to kind of unload or say goodbye to people in your life to kind of clear your path? And how hard was that?
Listen, environment is everything. So in order to grow, you have to change your environment. In order to get something new, you have to see something new. If my environment didn't change when I was living in Yonkers in the projects, if I didn't see something else, I had girlfriends that took me out of the projects, and I experienced Benzes and jewelry and furs and condos and houses, and I saw something else. So that made me want something else. So the environment is extremely important, and you're gonna shed people, and it's gonna be a little sad, but they have to go. When things start to stall, someone has to get off the boat or get off the bus. Everyone's not going. It's too heavy. You know, when the bus stops, somebody has to get off. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So Yes.
Yes, because you can only carry so many people. You're right. You're absolutely right. And do you, lastly, Mary G, have any advice for people some people are feeling either alone or their problems are getting magnified just because of the current environment that we're living in? What advice would you have for them?
First of all, loneliness is hard. If you're by yourself at this moment, take this time to get to know you. Take this time to absorb you, to embrace you, to talk to you. You know, people say you're crazy when they say talk to you, talk to yourself, but talk to yourself, love yourself, greet yourself in the morning, take a bath, do something, give yourself a natural oatmeal facial, whatever you do, but use the time instead of having a woe is me moment and lift yourself up and be patient in the moment, because I think sometimes we end up by ourselves because things have to be fixed in order for people to come, the right people to come around. You understand?
I think I heard about 10 quotes in there that I want to steal and take as if they were my own. Okay. Mary J, you are so full of inspiration. Thank you for doing our Quote Advice series. Good luck with your new music. You're going to come back to see us hopefully in Studio 1A soon as the lights turn back on. And we miss you.
Thank you, Hoda. I'll see you soon.
Good. I can't wait. Thanks, Mary J.
We can have honest conversations with love. We can have difficult conversations with love. We can have conflicted conversations with love. And I think recognizing that is what becomes our new superpower.
This Quote Advice series is one of my favorite things I do. And one of the people who just brings instant calm to us is a guy that you guys love named Jay Shetty. So Jay, I know that you have many North Stars, but I'm just trying to, if you could put your finger on a single quote that you sort of live by, what would that be?
Hoda, you've made my life very difficult because there are so many incredible messages and wisdom and quotes out there that I absolutely love. But I'd have to say my favorite one for right now is this beautiful quote from Maya Angelou where she said, "Hate, it has caused a lot of problems in this world, but it has not solved one yet." And I think this is just such a beautiful message for right now and something that I try and live by, because there are so many occurrences in our everyday that can force us to hate, that can force us towards negativity, that can force us towards judgment. But actually, when I hear this quote, I realize that not only is it just an uncomfortable feeling or it being just not a nice feeling inside, as Maya Angelou says, it doesn't solve any problems. And I think when you realize that, you think, wow, well, love and compassion, these are the superpowers that humanity so needs right now. So this is the quote I wanted to share.
By the way, that's a perfect quote. And I was just thinking, you remember we used to hear politicians just joke around together, even if they were on opposing sides, just humor, little basic niceties that I feel like have gone. How do you think you bridge the gap like that? Because I love this quote that you picked. I think it's beautiful. I'm going to read it again. Hate, it has caused a lot of problems in this world, but it has not solved one yet. But how do you take action to try to move forward on that, do you think?
I think one of the biggest things we get confused, Hoda, is like we think that you can't be loving and courageous, or we think that you can't be assertive and affectionate. But the truth is, that's when it's most powerful. So you can say the most courageous, bold statements, but they're fueled by this inner purpose and inner love. You can say the most assertive things to create change in the world, but they're coming from a place of deep affection and deep intention to change someone's heart and to help them. And so what we have to do is we have to ask ourselves, how can we perform the actions we believe are going to create the change we want in our work environments, in our home, in our families? But how can we do them from an inner place of love and compassion? Because that's what's going to inspire someone to change. Hate won't inspire someone to change. Hate won't even connect or help our family or our friends trust us more, but love will. And so we can have honest conversations with love. We can have difficult conversations with love. We can have conflicted conversations with love. And I think recognizing that is what becomes our new superpower.
Boy, that's the Rosetta Stone right there. That's it. That's it. Jay Shetty, Jay, we adore you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you sharing a little bit of your wisdom with us today.
Thank you, Hoda, for doing this, and so grateful to spend this time with you.
Thank you, Jay.
Thanks, Hoda.
We'll see you soon.
Awesome. Yeah, see you soon. Take care.
Still to come in the Channel 2 News. Well, the waters are certainly receding now.
Still too close to call. Lester Holt reporting from the
Ground zero, as it's being referred to.
It is, in fact, the taste of freedom.
The Haitian people know a little something about resiliency. What's the biggest risk right now?
Some of the troops who have been proud.
I want to welcome you to the first presidential debate. In fact, we've been told we can't go any farther. You are some resilient folks. Let me get a hint. Do you feel like the bad guy in this? Why should they believe you when they know that people are getting in? Has it been worth it to make this trip? Do you feel like you're giving a green light to politicians? How do you explain why your case has become so important?
Still to come in the Channel 2 News. Well, the waters are certainly receding now.
Still too close to call. Lester Holt reporting from the
Ground zero, as it's being referred to.
It is, in fact, the taste of freedom.
The Haitian people know a little something about resiliency. What's the biggest risk right now?
Some of the troops who have been proud.
I want to welcome you to the first presidential debate. In fact, we've been told we can't go any farther. You are some resilient folks. Let me get a hint.
Make the most of your day with Today All Day. Get closer to all your friends at Today in a whole new way.
Today in 30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show
in a mere 30 minutes.
Shop today with Jill Martin.
We're helping you shop like never before.
The latest styles and biggest names. Today food.
Things are heating up in the Today All Day kitchen.
Cooking essentials and recipe inspiration.
Get ready. Are you ready?
Oh, I'm so ready.
Only on Today All Day.
Do you feel like the bad guy in this? Why should they believe you when they know that people are getting in? Has it been worth it to make this trip? Do you feel like you're giving a green light to politicians? How do you explain why your case has become so important?
I went inside myself and I decided to choose myself. And it's all turned around.
Okay, I love a couple of things. I love my Quoted by series, and I love our guest, Billy Porter. He's won it all, Grammys, Tonys, Emmys, I don't know, awards that have not yet been invented yet. Billy, it's so great to see you. You know, I'm always struck by your positivity and your light. I feel like some people lead with their light. And so when I see you, I always think, like, I wonder what his quote would be. What's his guiding light when it comes to quotes? So what's yours?
My favorite quote comes from Marianne Williamson, and it says, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God, and your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightening about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We were all meant to shine, as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us, and it's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give others permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others." That is my favorite.
I love that. I love that for so many ways. Did you ever find yourself, Billy, at some point, like just trying to make yourself smaller so someone near you felt bigger? Yeah?
Always. You know, for the first half of my life, that's all I did. Was try to mute myself, mute my truth, mute my personality, you know, be everything that everybody wanted me to be or thought I should be, and, you know, trying to be masculine enough to, you know, be accepted in society, you know, just all of those things. And this quote came around, you know, it's often been attributed to Nelson Mandela. And so I had initially heard it through readings about him, and it actually came from Marianne Williamson. So I wanted to make sure I gave the right credit for that.
Was there a moment or a light switch or something that made you said, no more, I'm not gonna live like this anymore?
Yeah, I mean, I just, probably when I was in my mid-30s, you know, everything fell apart. All the things happened to me that I was running away from. You know, I became the statistic in every way that everybody cursed me to be. And I just sat quietly. I went inside myself and I decided to choose myself. And it's all turned around.
Well, lucky for the world, you did do that. Boy, I thank God for that day in your 30s, because otherwise we wouldn't have Billy Porter. Billy, thank you for sharing your quote with us. It means everything. I appreciate you, honey.
You have a great day.
All right, you too.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast, free wherever you get your podcasts.
News is more than a headline. It informs, it inspires, and it still matters. To cover it, you have to be in it. And that's what we're gonna do. Every night, we take you to the front lines of the story, where it's actually happening, with NBC News journalists on the ground from all over the world. We cover what you need to know and bring your newsfeed to life. In primetime and streaming live, it's your news playlist every night.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Does the White House think they have an Afghanistan problem or a COVID problem? Do you believe the abortion issue should reflect the will of the people or the will of the elected officials? The vaccine mandate. Is this going to work or is this going to backfire? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
It was a wealthy, idyllic town forced to confront racism, but when the school board presented its plan, it ignited a national firestorm.
Critical race theory.
Racism, it refers
false narrative.
Shame.
This is Southlake. All episodes available now.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your newsfeed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Today is now a podcast, available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Jenna's off. And all this week we've been doing this thing where they bring a surprise guest into the studio. And again, it can't be anybody in person because of COVID stuff. So I'm about to find out who our surprise guest is. So here are the clues. Bring them on.
Hoda, here are your 3 clues for today's mystery guest.
Okay, I thought it was Andy Cohen's voice.
This person was born in the state where you spent much of your youth. 2,
West Virginia?
This person is a coach, but not in sports.
Blake?
And 3, there's no doubt he's engaged to the coolest girl around.
Y'all booked Blake.
Guess the mystery guest.
Y'all did not book Blake Shelton. Oh, yes.
I'm booked.
Yes, yes. Blake, how are you?
Well, it's really early here in Los Angeles, so I'm not sure yet how I am.
Okay.
Wait a minute, I have a question for you, Hoda.
Okay.
What was one of the clues that did you live in Oklahoma?
Well, I was born in Norman, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I grew up in Morgantown, West Virginia, and went to college at Virginia Tech in Virginia. But Oklahoma, I mean, my parents went to OU, man. My mom and dad went there.
I don't know how, maybe I don't remember ever knowing that before. I don't think I ever knew that.
Are you in a playroom?
No wonder we have this connection. No wonder.
Wait, are you in a playroom? What are you doing in there? Where are you?
I mean, look at this. No, this is actually, believe it or not, Gwen's office. That's the difference in Gwen's house in Los Angeles and my house in Oklahoma. There's deer everywhere at my house in Oklahoma, and there's whatever this is behind me at Gwen's house.
You know what I thought it was going to be? You know what I thought you were going to tell me? You know what I thought it was?
What?
I thought it was the baby's room. I was like, is that what's happening back there? So wait, so tell me, first of all, it was so funny because just this morning we did a story on the Voice situation, and they said that Ariana Grande is going to be joining you guys.
Yeah, she is, and I'm excited about that. You know, there's one chair on The Voice. It seems like lately it's kind of turned into like this revolving door of different coaches that we're able to bring in. And they never let us know who it's going to be, by the way. I'm excited about it. I'm a fan of hers. I'm not going to lie. We're still going to beat the crap out of her, you know, on the show. It's our job. They pay us to win, Hoda. They don't pay me to lose.
Well, you know what? I saw them harassing you the other day. They were calling you Pops. They were calling you Grandpa. Like, what is going on here? What is that?
Well, look at me. I mean, my gosh. I've been doing this show. This is the 20th season, so I guess I have it coming. I used to look like Ariana when I started this show. And now look at me. So I can take it. I can take it.
Now, do you still?
It's what it is, Hoda.
Do you still love it, Blake? I mean, you know, it's like anything. Like, look, I've been doing this show for a long, long time, and you know, do you still love going in there? Do you still get the rush, or how does it feel now?
You know, I have my favorite moments, and then I have my least favorite moments. My least favorites are the battle rounds and the knockouts when it comes to my team, because. You just, you know, you have these people, you beg them to be on your team, and then the very next thing you do is kick half of them off. But, you know, that's what makes it great to watch as a fan of the show. I mean, that's what keeps you on the edge of your seat. But as a coach, I mean, I hate that part.
Do you picture yourself like in 10 years, you and Gwen, just out in Oklahoma, like not jetting all over the place, not doing a bunch of do you just picture yourself kind of living a simpler life when you look way, way down the road?
Well, I hope that's not too far down the road. 10 years sounds like way too long to me.
Yeah.
I'd like to see that sooner than later. I mean, we've both pretty much, you know, taken it to the limit as far as, you know, our careers go, and touring and now the television thing. It's been fortunate to accomplish a lot of things, but hopefully at some point we'll get a chance to live some life. And I think we're both ready for that, honestly.
You like life better out of the spotlight?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think you know that about me. I do. The older I get, the more I kind of feel like I'm starting to turn into a little bit of a hermit. You know, I'm just kind of passing things and except interviews with you, Hoda.
You know
I'm always excited.
I love
to
you.
talk to you. I love you.
I love you too. Okay, wait, you got a new business, I hear. What do you got?
I do. Well, happy, by the way, happy Smithworks Hard Seltzer Lemonade Day.
So what is
Here
that?
I say that. You know, we have Smithworks vodka that's been out for a few years now. In fact, you were there for the launch of that there in Nashville.
I remember, yeah.
And today we're releasing our hard seltzer lemonade, and we're excited about it. It's American brewed, and it's all the rage these days, Hoda.
Okay, so here's a question: who's going to get married first, you and Gwen, or me and Joel?
Do you have, okay, you don't have to tell me, but do you have a wedding date set?
Ours was last November, but because of COVID, it all got messed up. So we're moving it forward. So we weren't sure if it was going to be this summer or wait till next November.
Yeah, I'm afraid if she and I wait till next November, then I'm right back into the Voice cycle again, and really want to be able to have plenty of time before and after. So hopefully this summer. Now, you know, I think we're right here at the point with COVID. It's like it looks like it may be okay, but I don't know. So that's tentatively the plan. So we'll see. So I'm going to say we're getting married before you guys.
Oh, really? Hey, did you get your vaccine yet? Have you gotten your COVID vaccine?
I did. Luckily, you know, in Oklahoma, we're way, you know, I think as far as all the states, you know, I think we're ahead, but there's not as many people there, you know, and so I was lucky enough to get mine. So
good. Hey, is anyone going to sing at your wedding? I heard Miley saying she wants to do it. Adam, your bestie, said he wants to do it. Anyone going to sing at your wedding?
Man, you know, it's starting to sound like Coachella lineup here all of a sudden. I've got all these superstars saying they're going to do it. I hope so. I don't know. I'm telling you, I'm not just saying this because it's the line. We really don't know, you know.
Yeah.
And I'd love to be able to take everybody up on their offer and have this amazing concert wedding, but you know how it is. We're just waiting every day, just like everybody else, to see what our summer's going to look like, and then go from there.
Well, Blake, thank you so much. I remember when you co-hosted with me, and I'll never forget it. And for you, it's just another Wednesday, but you played a song, and I remember I sat there on the set where we used to be when I was with Kath, but it was you hosting with me, and I'll never forget. I remember thinking in my head, like, Blake Shelton is singing to me right now. Like, this is happening. And it was the coolest. And it's one of those, everyone has a few unforgettables. And thanks for giving me mine.
Well, thank you. That was Who Are You When I'm Not Looking. I remember singing that.
Oh, my God.
Hey, Today All Day, we've got a great show for you on this Tuesday morning, including an all-day exclusive chat you can only see here. Let's kick it off with Pop Start. We check in with Carson, who's covering all the buzzy headlines, including a very interesting press day for NBA star Kevin Durant. Longtime late-night host David Letterman crashed the Brooklyn Nets media day, and everything went crazy. Take a look.
Time for the best time of the day. Pop Start.
Get it. Flavor Flav to my Chuck D. That's right.
That's me, baby.
I appreciate the hype. I need it. First up, Sunday Night Football. This will be a good one. Tampa Bay Buccaneers are set to take on the New England Patriots in Foxborough this weekend. It'll mark Tom Brady's first time back on his former team's home field. And a really funny new promo for the big game sees Brady saying hello to former coach Bill Belichick.
Hello. It's me. I was wondering if after all these years you'd like to meet. So hello from the other side. At least I can say that I've tried.
Somebody at NBC deserves a raise for drawing that correlation of the lyrics of that song with that theme.
Great. Genius promo.
That is amazing. Hello from the other side.
That's a great music video.
Who
you got your money on?
You can watch. No, I do not bet against Tom Brady. I've learned.
Yeah, he's going to win, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Tom Brady?
Yeah.
The Patriots had such a great game last week.
Or you can watch the big return to Gillette Stadium, the Bucs and Pats. That's going to happen here on NBC. Coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern. All right, next up, David Letterman, the longtime late-night host, crashed the Brooklyn Nets media day with some hard-hitting questions. That's right, Letterman trying his hand at sports journalism with NBA superstar Kevin Durant. Watch this.
They're looking at working a contractual deal that will allow you, when you're not playing for the Nets, days off, you'll be able to play for the Knicks. Comments?
All right, Dave, that was the last one.
I'm sorry, was that a comment?
That was it.
How about you? Do you have a comment? Wrap it up. Okay. I'm being told my time is done. Have a great year.
You let anybody in here.
I think one of the questions he asked was, why do they call you KD?
And that's when he apparently cracked up. That's when Durant finally cracked up.
That's really funny. I don't know what that was for. I guess
I don't know.
Just for fun.
We'll find
David
out.
hanging out on Monday.
Oh, man. Finally, Jeff Daniels, as part of this year's Atlantic Festival that brings together influential voices in our nation, Harry Smith sat down with the actor and executive producer Dan Futterman to talk about their new show, American Rust, on Showtime. Daniels plays Del Harris, a small-town Pennsylvania police chief who's faced with having to carry out his job while trying to remain loyal to his community. Daniels spoke to Harry about how he identified with that character, and we've got an exclusive clip of that conversation.
There is an authenticity to this that is undeniable if you're like me from the Rust Belt. Did you see that too, Jeff?
I did. I still live in Michigan. I'm around these people. I've kind of come to the conclusion that I am one of these people, that I grew up working class. I worked at my dad's lumber company. I was level, eye to eye with these guys, driving truck, making deliveries, and their worlds and their loves and their hates and their likes and dislikes. And I think that if the acting thing hadn't worked out, and I didn't meet my wife of 42 years. Del Harris would have, there are elements of Del Harris that would have been, yeah, cabin in the woods with a dog. Yeah. John
I think I still aspire to that.
You got to get Jeff Daniels one of those clip-on lights for Zoom calls for Christmas. Remind me.
Maybe close
we'll
the
send him
blinds.
one.
Yeah.
That's a great conversation. And you can watch the whole thing, the Atlantic Festival, online beginning today at 2 p.m. Eastern, as well as on our streaming platform today all day. NBC News is the exclusive media partner of the Atlantic Festival, and that is your pop star today, ladies and gentlemen.
How about that?
That was perfect. Very nice. Very nice.
It lived up to the hype.
10 out of 10. Drop the mic. No, you're not done. You have another half hour.
Still have stuff to do.
Come back.
Sorry.
Coming up next on Today Talks in the third hour, Al and Jill talk to singer-songwriter Ashanti about her new film based on the Build-A-Bear characters.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Make the most of your day with
Today in 30. We give you a mix of everything you love about our show in a mere 30 minutes.
Watch Today in 30 on your schedule, streaming every day on Today All Day.
Does the White House think they have an Afghanistan problem or a COVID problem? Do you believe the abortion issue should reflect the will of the people or the will of the elected officials? The vaccine mandate. Is this going to work or is this going to backfire? If it's Sunday, it's Meet the Press.
Do you feel like the bad guy in this? Why should they believe you when they know that people are getting in? Has it been worth it to make this trip? Do you feel like you're giving a green light to politicians? How do you explain why your case has become so important?
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast. Free wherever you get your podcasts.
It was a wealthy, idyllic town forced to confront racism, but when the school board presented its plan, it ignited a national firestorm.
Critical race theory.
Racism, it refers
False narrative.
Shame.
This is Southlake. All episodes available now.
The Meet the Press Chuck Toddcast. Free wherever you get your podcasts.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Today. Let's go. Is the Delta variant more dangerous to kids, or is it simply more transmissible?
Maryland's Principal of the Year.
I serve an amazing group of staff and students.
Welcome back. Today on the third hour, singer-songwriter Ashanti joins the gang to talk about her latest film.
This morning, we're catching up with an incredibly talented singer, songwriter, and actor, Ashanti.
That's right.
Her self-titled debut album, featuring her hit Foolish, went triple platinum and earned her a Grammy Award.
Now, Ashanti stars in The Honey Girls. It's a film based on Build-A-Bear characters. Plays Fancy G, a global pop star who's hosting a contest to find the next big thing, and has some advice for the 10 finalists.
The pressure can be intense. You think I get a pass if I misstep? 'Cause I don't. This is not just fun and games. This is a job.
Yeah. I thought this was gonna be more like chill, you know? Like a vacation. This sounds like a lot of work. I don't think this is for me.
Peace out. All right, Ashanti joining us now. Good morning, Ashanti.
Good morning.
Hey, so congratulations on the new film. And this must be pretty flattering to know that the director of this film wanted you so badly that she actually wrote you a letter. That's pretty cool.
Oh my gosh, that was the most amazing. That's never happened before. So I was so touched and so humbled. And I was like, we have to do it based on the letter.
Tell us about your character. I got to see the film last night, and she's very concentrated on business, but throughout the entire film, she finds herself in self-discovery. So did you relate to that character at all?
I did actually. You know, just being an artist and playing an artist, obviously there are so many parallels and so many similarities. And there were periods of time in my career that I felt like, oh my gosh, what is happening? You know, like, why is this happening this way? This is not what I thought, you know? So I definitely could relate, you know, to a lot of those instances in Fancy G's character, but it's real, you know? And that's the thing that's so important, because as an artist, we're still real people. We still go through these problems like everyone else, you know? It's just on a different scale. A lot of eyes are on us. You know, so I appreciated that story being shared.
And a lot of folks, we all had our lives put on hold because of the pandemic, performers as well, like yourself. And now you are out on tour. What is that like after that kind of forced hiatus, and now you're back in front of fans performing?
You know, it is absolutely insane. I just left Toronto last night and I performed, and we were outside, and it started raining, but there were so many people out there. It was sold out. And I was like, oh my gosh, guys, we're outside. And the crowd erupted. And it was just like such a surreal feeling, because this time last year, we were like all sitting at home. You know what I mean? And I was just talking about celebrating life and celebrating music and you know, appreciating life and living life to the fullest, because we really don't know what is going to happen tomorrow. It's definitely not promised.
Don't you feel like that, moments that we used to take for granted? Like you would go out there and say, oh, I have another, that now you're saying, wow, I can't believe I'm here again.
Oh my gosh. The fact, because I was one of those artists, I did a lot of online concerts, but the energy is just not the same. So you're just like, you know, you're in front of the camera and you're like, wave from side to side. And it's like nobody there. So, so to have people screaming and having fun and singing your records, it's like I appreciate it so much more now. You know, it's an amazing feling.
And speaking of amazing, you're going to be getting next year a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Are those one of those pinch me moments? Can you still appreciate what this means?
Oh my gosh, such a pinch me moment. I am still so like stunned that that's actually happening. I'm super humbled. When I found out, I was actually in the shower and my phone was blowing up. And I was like, where are all of these calls? What's happening? So when I got the news, I FaceTimed Michelle, my publicist, and my mom. And I was kind of like crying. I was like, oh my gosh, is this really happening? And I looked all crazy, like I'm dripping and my eyes are puffy. But it was such a moment to be able to share, you know, with my momager and Michelle, and you know, all the hard work. It's like everything kind of came to fruition. You know, on that phone call, we were remembering the good times, the bad times, and the fact that I'm still here and I'm able to receive this. You know, I'm just really, really grateful to the fans and to the support.
Oh, and if you're not busy enough, you are now coming out with a rom-com?
Yeah.
Tell us about it.
I'm very excited about that, to be executive producing and starring in the film Plus One. We're going to be shooting, I think, in December, and it's hilarious. The script is hilarious. I can't tell you the characters yet, but they are so funny. You guys love them. I'm very, very excited to be a part of it. It's kind of like a destination wedding vibe. And one of the guests is really not invited, and they kind of show up, and there's like a little issue.
Always one of those.
Can you give us a hint of who your romantic lead will be?
Not yet, but let's say look forward to it.
All right, there you
We'll
go.
take it.
We'll leave it at that. Ashanti, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Honey Girls will be available exclusively on DVD and digital on October 19th.
Coming up on Hoda and Jenna, looks like we made it. We made it onto Jeopardy, that is. I'll explain coming up.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Will coronavirus come back next year?
So to help make sense of it all, we've created a newscast just for them. Man, you know a lot. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
News is more than a headline. It informs, it inspires, and it still matters. To cover it, you have to be in it. And that's what we're gonna do. Every night, we take you to the front lines of the story, where it's actually happening, with NBC News journalists on the ground from all over the world. We cover what you need to know and bring your newsfeed to life. In primetime and streaming live, it's your news playlist every night.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Will coronavirus come back next year?
So to help make sense of it all, we've created a newscast just for them. Man, you know a lot. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
News is more than a headline. It informs, it inspires, and it still matters. To cover it, you have to be in it. And that's what we're gonna do. Every night, we take you to the front lines of the story, where it's actually happening, with NBC News journalists on the ground from all over the world. We cover what you need to know and bring your newsfeed to life. In primetime and streaming live, it's your news playlist every night.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. For breaking news in our changing world, download the NBC News app.
Today is now a podcast available every morning. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back. Today on Hoda and Jenna, we made it to the big time. Hoda and I were a clue on Jeopardy. Take a look at this.
Neither of us are smart enough to watch Jeopardy, but last night we heard from sources, our smarter friends, a friend of mine named Kimmy. She sent me a video. She said, oh my gosh, look what came on Jeopardy. So the category was daytime TV. Take a look.
Daytime TV 400. Hoda Kotb and Jenna Bush Hager are part of this morning show that's been on since 1952. Matt.
What's today?
Yes.
Matt.
And we have Matt joining us by phone. Matt? Matt? Oh, he's not
Matt,
there.
he actually he's too busy. No, but you know, it's those types of things where you're like, oh gosh, Matt,
Probably
please
not.
get it. Matt, please get it. That was kind of cool.
That was kind of cool, yeah. I mean, Savannah hosted Jeopardy. That's real cool. Being a clue is also cool.
Listen, I'm just happy to be a clue.
Did you know that our show's been on since 1952?
No.
Isn't that
there
like
was something, because the way you sent it, I even liked better than that, because it was in somebody's cozy living room with a candle.
But when you think about, sometimes I think about our show, this show, and all the people who've sat in these chairs. When you think about 1952,
I know.
I mean, I remember watching the Today Show with like Jane Pauley when Jane Pauley was on it, and Willard and Brian Gumble and all those guys.
It's so true. And like when you played it for me and I heard that clue, I was like, wow, this is an institution.
Isn't it weird? And it's just weird looking around the studio because a lot of these guys, Davey included, have been here for how many years, Davey, for you?
Since 1994.
1994.
1994. Who was the host when you were here?
What's that?
Who were the hosts of the show?
It was
Bryant and Katie, yeah. Isn't that, it's just, when you think about the history.
I know.
Sometimes when I walk through here, I think,
you just
I cannot
can't even believe it.
And that window on the wall has been around through all of the iterations. And then, lo and behold, Jenna Bush Hager is a clue on the Today Show.
Didn't you kind of pinch yourself?
It was kind of cool, really cool.
We don't take that stuff for granted.
We don't.
All right, actress Rebel Wilson, she's sharing some really awesome inspiration.
Yeah, she posted an Instagram picture of herself, and she showed herself after losing more than 60 pounds.
Wow, she looks beautiful.
Yeah.
And she wrote, her caption said, it's never too late to improve yourself, to improve your health, your heart, your happiness, your harmony. For everyone out there just trying to be a little bit better this week, go for it. Mm-hmm. I think it's so true.
I do too. And Rebel, I didn't realize she was 41 years old. I didn't know that. And I remember she talked about sometimes for parts, she would always get the same kind of part because of her personality or what she's like and just the type she was cast in. And now it must feel so freeing. It's like to say, this isn't me.
Yeah.
This is, now this is who I am.
Yeah, this is part of who I am, and look at me now. It's so awesome.
And I also think she's got, like, the fact that she included all the harmony, because I think a lot of people lose weight and expect a life change, but realize they're themselves, but just lighter.
Feel better.
Yeah, and I think that she sounds like she got all the boxes, the health, the harmony.
But also it seems like if you don't have the harmony and the happiness, it's hard to get the health. Mm-hmm. You got to get to the root of it all.
Yeah.
She's awesome. She's been sharing her weight loss journey on social media since early 2020. She called 2020, ironically, her year of health.
I think that's really cool.
Isn't it cool?
I feel like she's one of those, she's been here a few times. And
when she was here, she's hilarious.
So funny. I always wonder about funny people. If you expect them to be funny, you're like, okay, be funny. And
let's go to the beach and I expect you. But she kind of is.
She is.
I bet she's, maybe not always like that.
But she has that kind of personality. All right, so Grammy Award-winning singer Billie Eilish, she made headlines, okay, and this is what happened. So she posted a picture on Instagram, and whether or not this was the cause of it or not, she said she recently lost 100,000 followers.
Yeah.
So she said it was because of a picture she posted. This is the picture that she posted. She's wearing a corset, and she says that she thinks her fans are kind of used to her dressing a certain way.
Yeah,
Remember, she used to wear
like
the baggy. Yeah, just like covering everything up, and instead of the look that she's portraying now.
Yeah, so an interview with Elle magazine says, I lost 100,000 followers just because of the boobs. People are scared of big boobs.
Okay, well. I do think that there is a thing about once you are a certain way, people like you to stay that way. It's probably like, you know, some of the overweight, like Hollywood celebrities who get really skinny and people are like, what happened to you? I liked you when you were, you know, they want you back the way they remember you.
But also, you can't please everybody.
Jen had to scoot off a little early, which means I get to have the fun for TikTok Tuesday. And today it's all about TikTok star Ivani Greg, who has more than 50 million followers across her platform. She also has her own makeup brand collaboration and was named one of Forbes 30 under 30. Wait a minute, you're 18, you have a book out, you have a gazillion followers, you have a makeup line, and you're one of Forbes 30 under 30. I mean, how do you attribute the fact that you are at the top of this mountain at age 18?
It's just, I don't even have words for that. It's crazy.
Can you believe?
No, I still don't believe it.
I mean, one day you're doing a clown video, like, so what, in your house, right?
Yeah, just randomly.
Yeah, were your parents, did they know that you were kind of into doing, like, fun stuff like that?
Yeah, they were kind of scared because, I mean, I would take the chance to scare them, of course.
Yes, of
but
course.
they loved it. They loved seeing the creativity, so.
It's one thing to be creative, and it's another thing to be creative and then also pay your bills. This is a job. All these things have become a job for you. Tell me about that.
I mean, it's crazy to think, and a lot of people don't understand that this is a job.
Yeah.
But like once you're in it and like you start understanding, it's like, oh my God, it's a lot of work.
What's the work? Tell me.
I mean, like, you start with the filming.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it gets into like all these, like, you're like a living ad.
Yeah.
Like they just like, everyone wants you to do stuff for them, and it's just like, it's still no words from me. I don't even know how this all works.
Now,
I'm still learning.
Are your parents, my parents are the type of parents who said, you're going to college, there's no question, you're doing this. They had a very practical plan. Do your parents have a practical plan for you?
I mean, they were 100% sure. They were like, finish college. I mean, like, what if like something happens?
Right.
I have college in the future, finish that. Just graduated high school beginning of this year, so that's very nice that I got that.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can always do online college and just get that, make sure that I have that. But they were made education first.
Are they okay now that the fact that you've got a book out and you've got this other whole situation going?
I think now they know, like, I mean, this is like a lifestyle. I'm living this. Like, it's my job. Like, I have a really, really good job. And they're like, push everything back. I mean, maybe I won't ever get this opportunity again.
Yeah. Some people look at someone like you and say, wow, she's got everything, doesn't she? She's got all these cool things. I wish I could be her. But often people don't know what is really going on inside a person. They see the public person. They don't see all the angst and things that you're going through. But you're a real person going through real issues.
Yeah. I mean, I try to put out as much as I can so people like can see me, how I am and how I react to things. But some things you just got to keep behind, and like once someone starts social media and they see that, they're like, is this really what I want to do? And like I got past that point. I'm glad I got past that point, but it's really hard.
So who was that book for? What do you hope people take from your book?
I mean, this book was like therapy to me to write. I was like I was just writing. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, this is like this. Everyone needs to hear this stuff about me, and like, I want people to be able to take it, learn from it, and just like know that like, I'm with them. I can do everything they do. I go through all the same things, and that they can just hear about it.
Did you have any nerdy years already? I know you're only 18, but you must have at some point. Did you ever have thick glasses and the rest of it?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
What age?
Oh, I think it was
junior high.
Like, I think so.
Junior high is always the hideous
Big
for years.
Glasses.
Good to know. I just want to make sure it wasn't so easy for you. Okay, good. Ivani, thank you. Her book is called Backstory: My Life So Far. You'll probably have more because you got to have another one when you turn 28. You can go to today.com/shop.
Today Talks continues after the break. We'll go unscripted and we'll have an exclusive chat you can only see here on Today All Day.
Hey everybody, it's Hoda Kotb from The Today Show. I am so excited to tell you about my new podcast, Making Space with Hoda Kotb. I sit down with some incredible people and we'll hear some uplifting stories.
Listen to Making Space now on Apple Podcasts.
To cover the news, you have to be in it. We'll take you to the front lines of the story, bringing your news feed to life. Streaming live every night. It's your news playlist.
Top Story with Tom Llamas, weeknights at 7 on NBC News Now. Make the most of your day with
Today in 30.
We give you a mix of everything you love about our show
in a mere 30 minutes.
Watch Today in 30 on your schedule, streaming every day on Today All Day.
Still to come on the Channel 2 News. Well, the waters are certainly receding now.
Still too close to call.
Lester Holt reporting from Ground Zero, as it's being referred to.
It is, in fact, a taste of freedom. The Haitian people know a little something about resiliency.
What's the biggest risk right now?
Some of the troops who have been proud.
I want to welcome you to the first presidential debate.
In fact, we've been told we can't go any farther. You with some resilient folks, let me get a hint.
Sometimes the news can be difficult and overwhelming for kids to understand.
Will coronavirus come back next year?
So to help make sense of it all, we've created a newscast just for them. Man, you know a lot. We hope your family will watch Nightly News Kids Edition.
Welcome back to Today Talks, our exclusive content you can only see here on Today All Day. Donna, I'm joined by Donna. Jen had a little bit of business she had to take care of, so she's somewhere else.
Yeah.
And
you know, I gotta tell you, I was listening to 2 of your episodes of your podcast, and I love it so much. And something Savannah said that really resonated. She said, you translate the wisdom that you receive so well to other people. And it's so true.
Funny. But by the way, I feel like when someone's talking to me, I feel like I'm such a student. Like when I had Maria and Oprah, which I was just like, I couldn't handle it. And Oprah told a story about how it was Maria's, it was a big day for her. She had had a lot of loss, and and Oprah wanted to celebrate her. And Maria was like, I don't know if I want to be celebrated. I don't want to. So Oprah invited a group of people and asked them on a stone to write a word that translated, that meant something to, that would mean something to Maria. And Oprah wrote on her stone the word cherish. And Maria said, I don't know that I had ever been cherished.
Wow.
And has had a beautiful life.
Amazing career and personal life.
But she talked about, and this was so moving to me, that we'll have in the episode, which runs on the 4th of October, but she said at one point Oprah brought her coffee just the way she liked it. And there was something about her looking at it and knowing that she brought it just for her, just that way. And it was funny, I ate a meal with Maria recently, and I told her, I found a restaurant. It's kind of fancy, but they also have your kind of food. Maria likes the food of a teenage boy. She likes chicken nuggets and French fries. She doesn't like anything fancy, but I said it also has your kind of food. And she looked at, when I saw her, she goes, look what you wrote. It also has your kind of food, like you were thinking about me.
Well, it strikes you. I mean, that's like the beauty of an amazing best friendship, which is what Maria and Oprah have, you and Maria have. But
42 years, though, they've been friends. I mean, imagine, I actually went back and looked, this is weird, but Maria read the eulogy at her mother's funeral. And Eunice was a force to be reckoned with. Some thought of all the Kennedys, she was the one who would have been the best president because she had everything and then some. And to watch Maria stand up there and say, at one point she said, at 52 years old, for the very first time, I crawled into bed with my mother. Her mother was in the hospital. She goes, I crawled in and said to my mom, I love you. At 52. She said it was the first time she had done that. And I was getting chills watching it. And the camera panned to the audience. In addition to her family, who was all there, there was Oprah. And I thought, she's been there through the birth of her children, through the death of her parents, through the end of her marriage, through all these things. And I know a lot of people have long friendships, but it just reminded me, like, hang on to your friendships. Don't back burner them. Don't say I'll call them later. Don't say it doesn't matter. But one thing Oprah and Maria both have are small circles. They don't have, there's that saying, don't go wide, go deep.
Was there a moment where you realized for yourself, it's okay to have a small circle of friends? Because I think
I've always had a small circle. I don't even think I even thought about it. I think I've always had like 2 or 3 people in my circle. And everybody else I love, but if you're going to trust your heart and soul to somebody, I think if you give it away too many times, it almost loses something.
It does.
You know?
It's funny for me, I feel like my circle of friends is smaller now than it ever has been, and I chose that because I was growing and I realized
some people you don't click with.
some people's energy doesn't serve me or the way that I feel that I'm growing internally.
Yeah, and I think also it's just like what that one pastor said. He said every 5 years we change, so check in again. Sometimes remember when have you ever been with old friends and all you talk about is the old times?
Yes.
You're like, well, that's boring.
But
we
by the
finished
way,
that,
what
and that's the
what
end.
Pastor Michael Todd said to you about that, that resonated for me, and I'm not in a relationship. That resonates for every single person, no matter what type of relationship you're in.
And you are in relationships. You're in relationships with your friends, you actually have lots of love relationships right now already, and those same principles apply. Like I thought that too about different, you still have to use all of those same things, whether it's romantic or friendship or,
Well, every time I listen to your podcast, I love it. I get so much wisdom. Every time I talk to you in person, I feel the same way.
I can't believe you're interviewing me. This is not the way this is supposed to go.
I can't wait for the Maria and Oprah episode.
It's going to be a good one. Thank you, Donna.
Thank you.
Well, I intended this to be a different kind of conversation, but thank you. Thanks for watching this episode of Today Talks. Keep watching for more of Today All Day.
My name is Harry Smith from NBC News, and welcome to this session of the Atlantic Festival. We're here to talk about a new series on Showtime called American Rust, based on the novel by Philip Meyer.